What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the CoolFigurez channel, and welcome to episode 1 of the CoolFigurez brand new Coffee and Toys podcast, where we will be talking the weekly toy news, toy reveals, toy pre-orders, and of course everything and anything else having to do with toys. Hope you guys are excited, because I am definitely excited to start talking about this week's toys, the reveals, the pre-orders, and of course this week's toy haul. But before we get into that, if you're new, then welcome. This channel is all about cool action figures, analyzing them, hunting them, taking pics of them, and of course playing with them. I upload new content constantly throughout the week, so make sure you hit that bell icon so you stay notified when I do upload new videos. And if you guys do enjoy this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. And if you guys want to support the channel in any way, all I ask is you guys watch my videos from start to finish, as well as going ahead and checking out those Amazon links down below, where you will see some of the figures we talk about today, about reveals and pre-orders. You'll find those linked down below so that you can purchase them through Amazon for your convenience. So with that being said, the information on the channel is intended for adult collectors and not children. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to this channel sponsor, VRare Store. Check them out for all your Funko Pop, anime, and Pokemon card needs. And of course, use code CoolFigurez at checkout for 10% off your order. VRare Store, check them out, guys. So with all that out of the way, guys, once again, welcome to the episode 1 of the brand new CoolFigurez Coffee and Toys weekly podcast. So basically what happened is I decided to change from Saturday to Sunday, as well as change the name of my podcast. I realized that for a while I knew I wasn't going to keep the Toy News Toy Talk theme or title for a long time. I was just really waiting to find a good name, and one day I was having some coffee, looking at some of my toys, and it came to me, and I searched it on YouTube, and nobody has a show called Coffee and Toys. And so I went ahead and decided to name my show that. And on top of that, I did a little more research on my YouTube analytics and everything, and I noticed that Saturday is pretty congested with a lot of toy news from a lot of the big name toy channels out there and everything. But come Sunday, it's always dry on YouTube land, no matter who you follow, no matter the subscriptions. And I was talking to my friend, who you guys actually met, my co-host Chris, and even he, who follows so many accounts on YouTube, like thousands of accounts on YouTube, finds himself lacking in new content and new videos on Sunday mornings or Sundays throughout the day. So I figured Sunday would be a really great day for me to put out my weekly toy news podcast. So I figured why not go ahead and get started on that immediately. And so last week was the official final episode of the CoolFigurez Toy News Toy Talk podcast that comes out on Saturday. And now officially today we'll start the trend of Coffee and Toys being released every Sunday. And once again, it's basically the same show, just at a little more mellow pace, I feel like, because it's Sunday, it's more of a relaxing day. Saturday you want to get pumped up, kind of like when you watch the Fuchsia's weekly update. Robo was all pumped, energized and everything. But come Sunday morning, I think we all just want a relaxing toy news video to just talk about the latest toy news, and that's the great thing about this, and that's what I want from you guys. This video series, this podcast won't work without you guys commenting down below what you guys think, what you guys like, what you don't like, what you guys are waiting for, what you guys are excited for, what you guys are going to pass on. Let's start a dialogue, guys. That's the whole point of this podcast, is for me to talk to you guys and to like I said, reach out to more collectors and whatnot. So please start a dialogue down below. Leave comments on what you're excited for, what pre-orders you got, what you passed on, what you missed, unfortunately, because, man, do I have a story for you guys today about missing something, and it was in my hometown. I didn't even have to drive far. So we'll get into that in a bit. But with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and move on to the first thing. And what better way to initiate or start off a weekly Toy News Toy Talk podcast, because that's essentially what this is still, weekly Toy News Toy Talk podcast, but it's called Coffee and Toys. So what better way to kick that off than with an unboxing? So last week during my podcast, I did ask if you guys wanted me to keep something or put it up for sale on eBay. It seems like nobody was really interested in voting, or nobody got that far in the show to vote. So I decided, since I'm going ahead and switching over to a new show, new name and everything, I'd go ahead and keep it and use it as a desk ornament. So that way, if I don't happen to have something to put here from the week's haul, because I'm sure they'll happen one of these times that I don't have anything really to put out, I always want something here just to give you guys something to look at and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and open this up, and he's going to become a permanent fixture of this desk. He's going to go right here next to his little Mezco Gomez brothers. And so let's go ahead and see what we got here. So I recently acquired the 2020 MezCon box, and he actually came with a 5-point articulated Mezco Gomez right here. And so we're going to go ahead and open this guy up, pull him out of the packaging. Whoop. Get a better closer look at him. So what I'm about to do is probably about to piss off a lot of people, and I'm sorry, but this guy is really cool, and apparently the board is magnetic to him, so I really want to see that. So we're gonna go ahead and grab my handy dandy knife right here and just break the seal. Come on, I just sharpened you. You should be sharp. There we go. Now, I'm not a closed box collector at all, so if I'm going to keep something, I'm going to open it up. There's only a handful of toys that I kept closed, and those are actually from my childhood. You can see that all those basically in my first episode of the Toy News Toy Talk podcast, because that's what I did in the second half with my co-host Chris. We went ahead and looked at a box full of old Star Wars toys that I have from my childhood that I went ahead and kept in package for some reason, not too sure why, but the fact that I left them in package as a kid made me decide that I'm just going to go ahead and leave them in package as an adult, because if I had the discipline to keep them in package as a kid, why would I break that as an adult? So I went ahead and just cut the edge right here, so it is still attached to the blister pack, but as you can see, it is done, and it is basically open. So we're going to go ahead and pull Gomez out. Get a nice little tray shot right there. Nice little gold head. So that's the figure himself. And then he comes with a hoverboard, a katana, and a pea shooter. So that's really cool. So we're going to go ahead and pull this guy out. Stand him up right here. Stands really nice. Comes with a nice little black base, as well as, of course, his trusty boom box. So like I said, apparently the board is magnetic to his feet, which is what I really want to see. It looks like you can see the magnets there, but I'm not too sure. There's the bottom of the board, and so we'll hold the board here, pull him here, and voila, it's magnetic. It's a very light, as you can see, it's barely holds on. You just tap it and it's going to fall off, but it does hold magnetically, so that's pretty cool. But as you see, it does fall down pretty easily. So he does also come, of course, with this pea shooter right here, so you do get that, and of course his golden katana. So we're going to go ahead and put that, whoops, let's not break anything. Go ahead and put that in his hand right there. Slide it on down. Put him on the hoverboard. Put him on the stand. Put him in between his brothers. And of course you have to give him his boom box. Right there. So, what better way to start off a Toy News Toy Talk podcast than with an unboxing of a toy, right guys? So with that being said, let's go ahead and go right on into this week's haul, because as you can see, it is all over the place. There is not one genre. It is basically a little bit of everything here and there. So starting off with the first thing that we found this week, it is this Master Chief from the new Wave 3 Jazzware collection. It is slightly different than the first two waves of Master Chief, which is amazing, because the first two that were released were the exact same figure. So it was kind of just pointless in buying two. The only difference was in Wave 2, the joints were a little more solid. They weren't as loose. So I did go ahead and pick up a Wave 2 Master Chief, and I did see that difference in him. So he holds poses a little bit better and whatnot. But this one is a darker shade of green, as well as way more weathered. So he has a lot more weathering. He's a darker shade of green, and he also has the wrist gauntlet on here for the rope launcher grapple hook thing, and he does come with that as well. I didn't put it on him, but he does come with that. I don't think I'll ever put it on him. And the cool thing is they did update this guy so that his back piece is like the newer waves, where the piece comes out and you can flip it around and it has the peg, so the peg's not always sticking out. So we'll round back to these guys later on in the toy news. Trust me, we'll come back to them. So also, I picked up this 1/12 scale accessory set. I can't remember the makers, but they're like super cool toys or something like that. But it has all kinds of effects. It has punching effects, laser beam effects, all these cool blood effects. My only concern with them is that they didn't put any slits right here so that you can attach them to like a sword or something. So you have to use something sticky to get them to stick, or do some Photoshop magic to make them look, like natural and whatnot. So that's my only concern. And they are pretty hard and not like pliable, so they have a little bit of a weight to them. So you kind of have a difficulty balancing them. But if you can get them right, they'll look pretty decent. So next up, I did go ahead and pre-order this Beast Kingdom Justice League Superman, and this was about a month or two ago, and all of a sudden I get a shipping notification, and I'm like, what did I order? And I went through all my emails, and next thing you know, it says Beast Kingdom, a shipment has shipped. And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, that's right, I pre-ordered this guy. But as all toy collectors know, usually when you pre-order a toy, especially something that's already been released and it's going to be a re-release, you have to wait about a year or so. Or maybe I'm just scarred with NECA and I'm used to them, being like, oh, well, you're going to have to wait a year for this re-released item that we've already put out, and, we should have made X amount, but we made S amount, and blah, 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 blah. So I was really surprised that I got this guy in such a quick turnaround time, but he was definitely a welcome surprise. Unfortunately, I have to admit he is my least favorite out of all my Beast Kingdom figures. I have the Batman v Superman Nightmare Scene Batman. I have the Bank Robber Joker and the classic Dark Knight Joker. And I love them all, but this guy really irks me. It really has to do with where his arms insert into his body. I mean, just look at it. It's comical how small his arms are, his shoulders are, compared to the opening where his arms should connect in. Thankfully, you can kind of hide it. With the cape, so it's not too much of an issue. And as you saw, this laser beam effect is a separate effect, so you can go ahead and put it on and take it off at your pleasing. I think he looks a lot better with it on, and since it comes with it, might as well use it. And his face is already in that position, so he could either look like he's about to use it, or you can put it on and he can actually be using it. So other than that, the cape is all cloth and wired. My other Beast Kingdom figures come with a bunch of cloth goods or soft goods and stuff, but I knew when I bought him he was a plastic figure. It said and showed it very clearly in the solicitation, so that's not why I think it's bad. But I wish they would have gone with a darker blue like their Man of Steel Superman or the BVS Superman, but I think they went with the lighter blue because this was the Joss Whedon Justice League and not the Zack Snyder Justice League. And remember, if you look back at that one, they significantly raised the color contrast on all the suits and everything. So Superman's suit was once again just like a bright baby blue and whatnot, opposed to the dark navy gritty blue that Zack Snyder had him wearing originally. So I'm pretty sure that's why he came out in this shiny bright blue. But like I said, I'm just really disappointed in the shoulders and the way they go in, and the wiring in the cape too. It's not thick enough to hold the cape. The cape is a little too heavy, the fabric in the cape. So you got to like really play with it. And even when you do, like, as you can see, it's just falling. And you only have wire through the end, so you don't have anything in the back. So like I said, no support to keep it up like this. You have to like really mess around and play with it. But it works, I guess. Like I said before, I cannot afford Sideshow or Hot Toys, so Beast Kingdom 9-inch figures are definitely the way I go. Like I said, is it the best? No. Is it a great figure? If you can pose them right and hide those shoulder entries. But other than that, it's still a great figure. In terms of its likeness to Henry Cavill, I definitely do like that. Especially considering that, the McFarlane one is there, but at certain angles it's not. This one definitely, in my opinion, does look like Henry Cavill, and you guys will definitely get a closer look at it when I do my review of him later this week. So the next thing that I did happen to find and come across is this new NECA Toys Nightwing Eskrima stick replica. But this is actually not mine. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out my review of this. I already have it up above. I'll link that up above here. I went to Walmart randomly one night because I ran out of protein. I needed some protein for the next day, so I went and got my protein. And of course, if you go to Walmart or Target, you have to check the toys as a collector. So I went and looked at the electronics first, of course, because supposedly, Shredder and Casey are out there. And that'll lead into the story that I was talking about earlier about missing stuff. So we'll talk about that right now after we go into this. But as I was searching, I happened to come across an end cap that had a bunch of the new NECA Alien figures. And so I was looking at that, and I kind of passed this a few times, and I just didn't even catch my eye because wasn't looking for it. And then all of a sudden I realized that there's a Batman symbol on it, and I realized what it was. It was the Eskrima sticks that Nightwing uses. And you guys don't know how many times I said enema sticks when I first got this product and I was trying to record the review. It's Eskrima, not enema, but it's an Eskrima stick. And I remembered that my friend Robert, that keeps finding me figures, was looking for this. And so I messaged him, and he didn't reply. He happened to have fallen asleep. I went ahead and bought the two that were there because I know he's a big Nightwing fan, and he was already looking for two. And he messaged me an hour later. He's like, dude, I fell asleep. Like, did you pick him up? I was like, nah, man, I put him back. Like, I let some other people pick him up. And he was like, what? And I was like, nah, I'm kidding, man. I got you them both. Don't worry. So he's really happy to be getting these, and he was gracious enough to allow me to open them up and do a review for you guys. So thank you so much, Robert. I really appreciate it. And I'll show you guys a bit of it, what it is right now. These lights do light up, obviously, these blue tips right here, but you have to have 3 watch batteries. And like I said, this isn't mine, so I didn't buy any batteries for it because I wasn't going to use them. I wasn't even going to do a review on it until I just randomly thought to ask him. And so yeah, it also does a vibration effect, so that's pretty interesting, especially considering the shape. I guess it's so that, guys, if your girl is like telling you not to buy any more toys, you can say, well, at least we can share this toy. It adds to my Batman collection, and you can borrow it every once in a while because it vibrates. But anyways, it does come like this, all condensed. As you can see, there's a little button right there. You just click it in, it comes out like that. The middle plastic right here is a little kind of flimsy, kind of cheapy feeling. Not too bad. I can grip it pretty decently, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna crack or do anything really, but it feels a lot more hollow than the ends. The ends are a lot more dense, and they're a lot thicker too, so they carry a little more weight to them. And I'm pretty sure the electronics for the lights and the vibration probably add to that weight as well. But yeah, guys, other than that, it's a really cool prop. I have a lot of fun just doing this opening and closing it. But if you're a big Nightwing fan, this is definitely a really cool prop replica of that. And NECA has been hitting it out of the park with those prop replicas lately, and I really hope for them to continue it. And I'm pretty sure they will, because they just partnered up with Ruby's to start that prop replica website. But I'm really hoping they keep giving us these, affordable versions of them, because a helmet for $500, no thank you. I'll stick to my Black Series one that I got for about $100, or I did get for $100. So one more look, here it is. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the final thing that I got for this week from the Foosh Toys. So if you don't know, the Foosh is a YouTube page, but they also do toys apparently. I did not know that until I came across an ad that was saying that they were having a 70% off sale for August, which is actually going on till September 7th. So if you guys like these figures right here, check out the FooshToys.com. They have these in stock right now on sale up until September 7th. So go ahead and check them out. I'm not associated with them, but after picking them up, I am relatively happy for them. Although I wouldn't pay the $40 price point for them at a normal price, but right now for sale, they're having them at $11.99 a piece. And for Army Builder Ninjas, these things are amazing. I cannot say enough good things about them. They fit and scale perfectly with your 6-inch, especially your Mezcos. The reason I got them was because of this guy right here. I didn't really have any 6-inch ninjas to fight him. So I had, the NECA foot ninjas, but those guys are 7-inch. And even an inch kind of like throws off the scaling. It throws off everything in your pictures and everything, in my opinion. So I went ahead and picked up 4 basic green ninjas just as army builders, and 1 Shokin as a white ninja, because I figured either Gomez can be facing him by himself, as like a Shokin, high-end ninja versus another, high-end ninja, or I could have him be the leader of the four Green Ninjas, or I could just do the four Green Ninjas versus Clan of the Golden Dragon Gomez. There's a lot of possibilities here. Also, they can cross over into my Batman photography, and they can stand in as wow, I am really drawing a blank on their name. The Ra's al Ghul's assassins group. Man, I am a big Batman fan. I am drawing a blank on this. The League of Shadows. There we go. I could not remember them for the life of me right now, but it was Ra's al Ghul's League of Shadows. You can put that in there. And even now that I have the Mezco Daredevil, I can have them and be the hand. So that's really cool. And I'm also getting the new NECA, cartoon turtles from their Turtles in Disguise, and I feel like these guys might scale a little better with those guys than the Foot Ninjas from the 1990s movie, because I think that scale is a little bigger than the cartoon scale. So that is the whole haul of this week, basically, guys. But with that being said, we of course have to move on to this week's toy news, toy reveals, and pre-orders. So we're gonna get started and going ahead with NECA. So they did recently show off, right before I came in here to shoot, new promo shots for the werewolf from the American Werewolf in London movie, and that thing looks massive. I mean, take a look at it. The packaging is just so huge. They even photographed it with a Mezco Wolverine, which is really cool in my opinion, so that you can really see the scale of it. So that's really cool. And while they were at it, earlier in the week, they actually also showed off their Nightmare Demon figure from the same movie, American Werewolf in London. Now, I personally have not seen that movie, but I have to admit, I do want that Nightmare Demon. The werewolf I can probably pass on, or maybe not. Maybe it's a really cool looking werewolf figure. I don't know. Maybe if I find it in stores, I'll pick up the werewolf. But I definitely want to pre-order one or two of the Nightmare Demons, because he does come with multiple heads, so he can look different. And I feel like those Nightmare Demons, once again, me and my crossovers, I know, but you can really use those for great crossover picks. And so I'm super excited for that to release. And hopefully they release online, like I said, so I can actually pre-order a few of them. Yeah, so that is all. Oh no, there was actually one more NECA reveal this week, and that is of the Usagi Jimbo figure. People were ecstatic when this was released and announced earlier this week on Turtle Tuesday. I myself am not a big fan of Usagi, I'm sorry for you fans out there. He does cross over with the Ninja Turtles, so that's pretty cool. But once again, I'm not too big on the cartoon line, only because I did not grow up with the show. I grew up more with the 2003 TMNT show, but I have recently been watching the 1980 show, and I do enjoy it, which is why I went ahead and picked up the Turtles in Disguise pack, so I can have a version of them. But I just mainly want the main characters. I'm pretty content with having the Turtles, Shredder, and hopefully picking up one of those Ultimate Foot Ninja soldiers or two, just to have some army builders on the side of the foot. But other than that, I'm not too heavy into that line, so I don't think Usagi's going to be a pickup for me, although he does play an intricate part in the 2003 show. I'll wait till they touch upon that show, which I'm really hoping is going to be soon. I'm waiting for them to run out of figures from the 1980s, or characters from the 1980s show, which they don't seem to be doing. But I'm sure once they do run out of characters from the 1980 show, they'll move on to the 2003 show. So, moving on to Jazzwares. Like I said, I recently found this guy in stores at Target, and apparently the other three guys in the wave are also hitting Walmarts now. So, if you're looking for this wave, check out Walmart and as well as Target, because on my TikTok somebody asked me where I got it. I said Target, and they commented back and they found them all before I did. So, yeah, that's how that's going. But oh, I never even talked about the story about the NECA. So basically what happened was Robert messaged me in the morning saying that our local Walmart had the Casey Jones and the new Super Shredder in stock, obviously from Brickseek. So I went in the morning, there was nothing. I went in the night, there was nothing. I asked the employees, oh, we don't know where it's at. It's somewhere in the back. Come back later. The typical Walmart employee. We sell that? Yeah, you fucking sell that. Um, but the next morning, he messaged me a picture of somebody finding a Casey, saying he took the last one and that there was one more Super Shredder. So I'm pretty sure that's gone by now. And unfortunately, like Robert said, they're usually a one and done. There's no restocks on those kinds of figures. So unfortunately, I missed out on that, which was very stupid because I was in the area. I could have stopped by the Walmart, but unfortunately, I had a client coming over for training about maybe 10 to 15 minutes before I got home. So I had to rush home real quick so I could get ready to go to work, basically. So unfortunately, I missed out on Casey and the Super Shredder, but I'm hoping I find him in the wild, or Robert finds him in the wild somewhere else, and we can both add them to our collection. So with that being said, let's go ahead and continue on. We are going to be talking about Hasbro now, guys. What are your guys' thoughts on the new COD Vamp and the new Saul Guerrero Deluxe figures? For me personally, they're both an easy pass. I didn't grow up reading all the saga and legends. I read a few books back in elementary and whatnot from the Star Wars universe, but I never read the one with COD Vamp. So when he showed up, I was kind of just like, well, who the fuck's this imposter? Because, he was in Boba's uniform. And so to me, it wasn't like, oh my god, it's COD Vamp. Like, kind of like when Luke shows up at the end of the series, So this is an easy pass for me unless the armor is removable. Then I might just pick it up and take the armor pieces and resell the figure, because those would just be cool accessories to have laying in the background of a cool Star Wars pick. But what about you guys? Are you going to pick up COD Vamp? And now moving on to Saul Guerrero. I personally had no attachment to this character, especially the Rogue One version that's in the movie for maybe 10 minutes at the most. So that's another easy pass for me, especially at their new $30 price point. Easy pass for me on those both. But what about you guys? Are you just gonna pass on them, or are you guys gonna jump in on them? Let me know in the comments down below. So touching upon something that we talked about last week, Super 7 went ahead and released solicitations for their new SpongeBob Ultimate figures, guys. Now, I didn't think I needed an Ultimate SpongeBob figure until I saw what he comes with. I mean, look at the plethora of accessories that he comes with from like the early seasons. So that's so cool, and it's making me really consider going in on this line, even though I don't need a SpongeBob Ultimate figure or a Sandy Cheeks Ultimate figure, despite them coming with such great iconic accessories from like the first season or two. But what do you guys think? Are you guys all in? Are you guys kind of hesitant? What do you guys think? And what do you guys think with them only doing Sandy and SpongeBob? Usually they come out with 4 in their wave. When they released the Turtles, there's 4. When they released the G.I. Joe, there was 4. When they released the Silverhawks, there was 4. Thundercats, there was 4. The recent one that they just released, the Simpsons, there was 4. There was Homer, Moe. Actually, there was 5. Oh, unless Itchy and Scratchy. Were Itchy and Scratchy a combo pack, or were they separate single releases? I can't remember. So it's usually about 4 or 5 figures. But with this one, I feel like they're testing the waters to see if people are going to be interested, because they only released Sandy and SpongeBob. So we'll see if they continue the line. I'm sure they will. And I'm sure we're going to get a Patrick and a Squidward, and a Mrs. Puff, a Mr. Krabs, a Pearl, and all other sorts of characters from that line. There's so many characters from that world that I wonder what a Plankton Super 7 Ultimate would be like. He should come packaged with Karen, because he'd be a small figure, so it would make sense for them to package Karen with Plankton, right? So I mean, there's possibilities in that line, guys. There really is. Now that I'm thinking about it, I need to stop thinking about it, because now I'm going to think about where I'm going to put a SpongeBob Ultimate line in my collection, and I really don't need that. So let me know, guys. Are you guys interested in the new Super 7 SpongeBob Ultimate line, or no? Did you guys grow up watching the show or not? I'm pretty sure the majority of you guys did, like myself. So we'll see how it goes. So those will be $55 and due out sometime, I believe, next year. So moving on to my favorite company, of course, as you can see, if you can't tell by now, Mezco Toys. They did announce one thing this week, and that is, of course, the new Crow figure. Now, I personally, once again, have not seen the Crow figure, but I will cover anything and everything Mezco because, like I said, they are my favorite toy company, and so I will cover anything and everything that they release and say. So this guy does come with a lot of accessories, 4 alternate heads, a guitar, a headstone, and of course a burning crow. So all for the price of $100, which is not bad considering everything that he comes with. So that figure is on pre-order now. I don't know if it's sold out yet or not, but it seems like a lot of people are interested in it, and it should be a great figure with it being a Mezco toy. Like I said, I personally have not seen the movie, although I have seen YouTube videos on the movie, oddly enough, so I know a little bit of history on it. I know a little bit of background. I know that the main character was played by Jet Li, Bruce Lee's son, and he mysteriously died as well, I think right before the movie was released, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me in the comments down below. But anyways, guys, so that is the only Mezco release or reveal that they had this week. Hopefully next week we get a little something new. So moving on to Beast Kingdom. Now, although this guy was a letdown, they did tease their new Dark Side, and this thing looks amazing. Look how big and massive he looks. He is, oof. I want him. Even though this guy was a letdown. If you look at the shoulders, I'm hoping this isn't like a 3D rendition or an artist rendition. I'm hoping this is the actual figure, because if it is, the shoulders definitely fit into the shoulder socket. And he comes with that Superman cape. I'm hoping he comes with like kind of like this, but Omega beams. So I'm sure it's gonna cost about $200 because he looks really tall, really beefy. So a lot of plastic, obviously. But I'm really super excited to add him to the collection. Despite me actually finding the new Target exclusive Dark Side with the armor plate on his chest in stock online this morning, when I went ahead and pre-ordered something on Target for their summer or their fall geek out thing that they had kind of like in the summer, and they are not having a fall one. So this actually kind of takes us to our next topic pretty seamlessly. So Target is doing a fall geek out. So can we expect a winter one? Can we expect a spring one at this point? Because they did a summer, now they're doing a fall. So I'm seeing a trend. I'm thinking we're gonna get one every season at this point. So that's gonna be fun. Exclusives are always a great time. Am I right, guys? Let me know down in the comments below. Leave me a like if exclusives are your favorite. I'm not going to get any likes on this video. But anyway, so they are having a fall geek out. I keep wanting to say summer geek out because that's what the last one was called. So today, on Friday the 3rd of September, it was their first day that they had a release. And of course, it was a McFarlane release. Now, this was hinted at and shown off yesterday, and immediately put up for solicitation this morning. So with that being said, we're going to actually go over some of McFarlane's news, and then we'll go into what that fall geek out product was, which I'm pretty sure you guys already know what it is, but we'll talk about that last, because it's got quite a bit to talk about, because it's already going for a lot of money on eBay. So let's start with the surprise release and solicitation of the McFarlane DC Universe Lex Luthor figures, both the green suit and the blue suit one, which actually comes with a throne, which I actually bought specifically just for the throne. I'll be honest, I don't care for that figure, but he comes with a throne that my dark side could potentially fit into, and if my dark side doesn't fit into it, I'm gonna sell it, or use it for another figure, maybe my Boba Fett or another figure. I don't know, but yeah, he surprisingly just dropped them randomly. So those two figures will be linked in my Amazon links below. So if you want to pre-order those two figures, you can pre-order them there. But I did, like I said, I went ahead and pre-ordered them. Surprise drop, guys, once again from McFarlane. What's new? So with that being said, he also showed off the Batman monster truck from Dark Knight's Metal, which isn't really his Batmobile, but Batman's spirit in a monster truck. Yeah, me personally, that's just not my thing. I've never been into monster trucks. Even as a kid, to me, they was always tacky, and I don't know, I didn't get the whole hype behind monster trucks. So this is definitely an easy pass for me. It really just looks like one of those toddler toys that you walk past the toddler when you're walking past the toddler aisle to the real toy section, and you see like the Batman packaging, and it's like a oversized thing, oversized vehicle, and these little characters, and you know what I mean. It just looks childish, like toddler childish, not collector childish. So that's once again easy pass for me. But continue on with the Target Fall Geek Out. He did release 2 items as exclusives. The first one being the 1966 unmasked Adam West Batman. So I'm pretty sure he's sold out by now. I went ahead and passed on him. I passed on basically that whole line, and I'm kicking myself in the ass for at least passing on the Batmobile. I had the Batmobile in my cart when it was up for pre-order. I looked at it and I was like, what do I need this Batmobile for? And I went ahead, and that's actually what kickstarted my hunt for these Batmobiles, was because I wanted a metal version of it, because I was like, well, it's a plastic one. I want a metal Batmobile, and that's why I got these die-cast ones right here. I actually went ahead and found the 1966 Batmobile right there. But now I actually do want it, so I'm out hunting for it, and I cannot find it anywhere. So I'm really kicking myself in the ass for not buying that, but I'm not too big on the other figures in that line. What about you guys? Did you guys jump all into that line? Did you guys buy 1 or 2 figures? Let me know down below in the comments. But today he did release the unmasked Adam West Batman for the Fall Geek Out Target exclusive. So the final thing that he did release for this Fall Geek Out thing, I'm pretty sure you guys know because it's been all over the internet, the Batman Year 2 statue / figure, because that's essentially what it is. It's a statue that you can remove from the base, pop in some arms, and add the cloth goods cape. I was lucky enough to somehow randomly wake up at 6 this morning and get my order in for 2 of them, because I wanted to do the statue display and of course have them with the soft goods cape, and there was a limit of 2, so it worked out anyways. I did not go for the autograph version. The autograph version was $79. The normal standard version was only $50. I say only, but so an extra $20 for that autograph wasn't worth it to me until I saw the prices on eBay. Those things are going for like $300 already. However, now seeing the HD images of the Batman figure with the cape, I'm not too big on the way it's looking, so I may sell my second one to my friend Robert, because he was not lucky enough to get his order in on time. So I'm most likely just going to sell it to him at retail so that he can have one as well. But I am definitely looking forward to that Batman display. I mean, you guys should know, it's in my name, Jesse the Bat Madrigal. I am a huge Batman fan, and that thing, it looks massive. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a mainstay on this table once I get it, because it's just perfectly big. It's a nice eye catcher. And I think it'll look really great right here while I'm talking about all the great toy news of the week and everything. So yeah, guys, that is all the toy news of this week, but stay tuned. There is a part 2 to this week's episode. I know it's been a while, but Shang-Chi just came out this weekend, so I'm going to go check it out with my co-host Chris, and we will be right back to, commentate and tell you what our thoughts are on it. We'll start with a spoiler-free review, and then we'll go ahead and graduate into a spoiler review. So with this being the first episode of the Coffee and Toys podcast, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining me. I really did appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys every Sunday so we can talk some toy news and drink some good coffee and, just spend some great time talking about toys. So the first portion is always going to be a little more tamer, a little more on the Sunday morning vibes where we're just kind of talking and whatnot. But now that I'm going to be going into the second portion, I do want to warn you that this is a channel for adults. And when we go into movie reviews, we tend to lose our censors, we kind of just don't censor ourselves because we do have a few drinks. So if you're not feeling the loud vibes and all that after this portion, you can go ahead and skip it. But we are going to review Shang-Chi. But once again, this is a channel for adults, so please keep that in mind. But with that being said, guys, I'll see you guys on the next part. Alright guys, welcome to part 2 of episode 1 of Coffee and Toys here on the CoolFigurez channel. If you guys were following the last podcast, you'll know that I tend to have a co-host every once in a while to keep things interesting for you guys. And when I have this co-host on, it's usually because we went to go see the latest release in the movie theater. So once again, I'd like to introduce you guys to my best friend, Chris Brown.
Hey guys, what's happening? Glad to be here again. And of course, like he said, for a Marvel movie. Excited to talk about this movie.
First real Marvel movie outside of like the Endgame kind of storyline,
something
right?
new, yeah, something.
Because this is the first one. This is like the real first one that we've. Because I mean, Black Widow came out, but it was a prequel, so it was set. It was still set in the time.
Yeah, that's such a paused in moment movie.
That's what I'm saying. It's set in back time, so it's still part of that Thanos timeline and storyline.
Yeah,
and story arc.
Between Civil War and Infinity War.
That's what I'm saying. This was the first real Marvel movie that happens after. Because even though Homecoming or even Far From Home is technically the first one after Endgame, but it still deals
that story so isolated with
but not just
Spider-Man
that,
within Spider-Man.
But not just that, it deals so heavily with the results of Endgame.
It does. No, it does. But like with everything that happens though in that movie, Spider-Man, which I'm glad it does though, but it's very, as big as the movie is, it's very self-contained within Spider-Man's world.
No, it is, but I'm just saying, like, in a sense...
It doesn't really move the MCU really anywhere.
No, yeah. I'm just saying, like, in a way...
I mean, I guess Spider-Man gets its identity. I take that back.
But I'm just saying, like, in a way, like, it still fits into that MCU Thanos arc, where it's still, like I said, it's still taking place. It's still relying heavily on what happened in Endgame, whereas...
No, you're right, yeah.
Whereas this movie, you don't really see or hear... They mention something at the very beginning, but that's about it. Oh, real quick, we're going to start off spoiler free, and then we'll give you guys a warning when we're going to get into spoilers. So no spoilers right now.
Yeah, first we'll just talk about how we feel about the movie.
But I'm just saying, right now, it's the first movie that's the start of the new MCU in a way. You know, phase, what is it, 6 or 7?
No, this one's phase 4.
Oh, we're barely at 4?
Yeah. I mean, this is like what, I could be wrong. What is it, like their 24th, 25th movie? Marvel movie?
I believe it. They've been at it for over 10 years, so it's possible.
I think, what was Endgame, their 22nd movie, I think?
And then you had Far From Home.
And then what? Black Widow,
and now Shang-Chi. Or Shang-Chi. Yeah. Technically it's Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi,
makes it a point to...
Yeah, Shang-Chi.
So it's Shang-Chi, guys. And make a very good point during the movie to make sure you say it correctly. But, anyways, spoiler-free review. First impressions, what did you think of this movie?
Dude, this freaking movie's awesome. I thought it was dope as hell. I'm not gonna lie.
I have to agree.
It was freaking awesome.
I'll be honest. I didn't think I was gonna like it because I don't know. For me, it didn't seem like a Marvel movie. It just seemed like a really cool kung fu movie, which is.
I feel like it's a plus. I feel like it's a plus for me.
For what?
Not like. It doesn't feel like a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
It's not trapped. It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't feel trapped within that MCU universe. Like, it has to stay within this realm, or else.
Especially coming off Black Widow, where everything, you know exactly where she leads up to. No matter what happens in that movie,
you know she's not gonna die.
She could be stabbed 100 times in that film,
and you know she still has to die for the Soul Stone.
You know she's in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like the movie, the ending of Black Widow is literally, basically, like her scenes almost Infinity War at that point. Like, you know what I mean? Like she shows where she gets that twin jet where her and Cap have. Where they save Wanda.
Okay, so
it leads off from there.
Oh, okay, so yeah,
so it's so trapped within the timeline. This one,
it's a lot freer.
Yeah.
It's a lot freer. And for me, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll be honest, and I'll probably give my rating a little early, so because it gives me something to talk about. But once again, kind of like the Snake Eyes movie, I have to rate it in two forms: one as a kung fu movie, and two as a Marvel movie. And as a Marvel movie, I give it a 2, only because it doesn't really deal with like superheroes. You know, I mean, yeah, they have like those powers and everything, but it's not a hero that we know and stuff. So it, like you said, it feels disconnected from the MCU. It feels fresh. It feels new.
Yeah, I feel like that was for me. And my bad.
No. Well, for me also, like the outfit that he wore, it was just like an upgraded gi. It didn't look like an MCU like upgraded. Maybe I'm just used to seeing Iron Man upgrade everybody's suit. I was expecting him to come out into like an Iron Man armors type suit.
It's funny, these are my pluses about the movie, is that it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like an MCU movie.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No. I'm just saying this is the way I meant it. Like in a way where this is how I feel. It's like it doesn't feel like an MCU movie, which is a positive for me because it's not, like I was saying with Black Widow, it's not trapped within its own timeline, and it's just exciting to know in the background that it takes place in the MCU. That's what makes it just like a little bit. It's like the sprinkle on top for me, knowing in the background it's an MCU movie. So it's a little bit weird.
It wasn't until that end credit scene that you.
How I feel about it.
No, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't until that end credit scene that it really felt connected to the MCU. Other than that, it felt like its own movie. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I have to rate it in 2 separate ways. As an MCU film, a 2, because it wasn't. I don't know. For me, I'll be honest with you. I grew up with the classic characters, and I'm not against, introducing new characters and loving new characters, because I actually fell in love with this character throughout this movie, and it's a new character that's actually been around for a while, but I just never knew about. Yeah. And so it was a great character, but for me, nothing's gonna beat those classic characters because of the nostalgia goggles. Nostalgia goggles are always gonna reign supreme.
It's always hard to move on, like, with new characters. I'm gonna try to review it the same way you did. You said you're gonna review it
in two ways: as a kung fu movie, and MCU.
Okay, so as an MCU movie, actually, we're going to be quite surprised. I think it's a lot higher. I would say as an MCU movie, I would give it an 8 out of 10. That's not my score for the movie, but if I'm going to separate it just like MCU alone, only because it plays within the Marvel universe, and for me it just felt very fresh. So I feel like since it's like this is just how I feel about it, like since the 25th movie, and he managed to make me not feel like trapped within the, like I'm gonna repeat it again.
Yeah, like a repetition.
I gotta give it credit for feeling so different, and it's still being Marvel, like in the MCU, because you would think, 25 movie, like that shit must be boring, dude. And it's like, actually no, surprisingly, it's weird, because you would think it would get more boring, or not boring, but you would think, how can they go like any cooler? Yeah. And then you see like these movies coming out now, and you're like, holy shit, these are pretty cool. I'm not here to say these are cooler than certain movies, but
I'll be honest,
they're still raising the bar.
I'll be honest
on the films.
I'll be honest, even we saw the butt end of the trailer, but I don't know about the Eternals movie. The costumes look so bland.
You know what?
It looks so boring. The characters look like such.
That's the thing with
snooze fest.
Eternals. I'm gonna have to give it the same
like Shang-Chi
respect I gave Shang-Chi, because with Shang-Chi, I only saw the first initial trailer, and I was like, you know what? I'll catch that in a theater.
But you knew Shang-Chi was gonna be a kung fu movie, where this is more like you just got into Game of Thrones, so you're into that mythical stuff. And I'm not.
And exactly. Honestly, with I just finished watching all of Game of Thrones.
And see, I'm not
into
Kit
that
Harington
stuff. And it has nothing to do with so much.
It just looked too.
Game of Thrones is not as, it doesn't get fantasy.
I'm just saying,
like the very end.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you're used to that and you're kind of into that right now. But for me, it just looked too heavy on the CGI. Like, it's gonna be too much fantasy. It's gonna be too heavily CGI.
Yeah, but so was Shang-Chi. I mean, I like it.
At the end, though, towards the end, yeah, but
it's your run-of-the-mill CGI. It looks.
It's Marvel CGI.
Yeah, it's Marvel CGI. It's good as special effects you find anywhere else. Like,
or at least in any other Marvel movie at this point. So for me, I have to rate it a 2 as a Marvel film, only because it feels so disjointed, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it feels so disjointed. He doesn't seem like a superhero. He just seems like a very powerful kung fu artist that has this ability, and then the rings just amplify it. I understand that that's what fits into the Marvel universe, but it's just
I think he's still pretty badass without like a.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, even without the rings, you see most of his fighting without the rings.
He basically only needed the rings to defeat that.
He needed the rings to defeat someone. Obviously, there's a big battle at the end. Anyways, every superhero movie has a big bad and everything. So, anyways, besides that, he's already a great martial artist, and we see that throughout the film. Especially when he's first being introduced as who he is to his friend. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because she doesn't really know who he is, because he's been hiding that from her the whole time. So it seems like we're gonna get into spoilers pretty soon and pretty easily. So once again, it's a great film in my opinion. I absolutely had so much fun. As a Marvel film, I rated it a 2, and as a kung fu movie, I would rate it a 10. It's the best kung fu movie I've seen that in modern age. It's not going to be Enter the Dragon. Obviously, you can never beat Bruce Lee, but the fact that they make this kung fu movie really serious and not like cheesy and like kind of like just cheesy. They made it like a really good kung fu movie, kind of like John Wick, but like they amplified that. They saw what John Wick did in a short scene, and they're like, we're gonna make a whole movie out of that, and it worked out. And so, so in my opinion, it's a 10 out of 10 in a kung fu movie. In terms of Marvel, I'll give it a 2 only because it feels so disjointed, and we can get more into that once we get into spoilers.
Like, without that, separate rating though, like what would you just give the film in general though? Like just one score.
If I was gonna give it one score, I give it a 10 out of 10
Yeah.
because I absolutely enjoyed it the whole time.
Yeah.
It's whether it was a Marvel film or not,
So you think
I enjoyed it because I had fun. The kung fu was out of this world. Like I said, they saw John Wick and were like, well, we're gonna do that 10 times more and better in terms of hand-to-hand combat.
10 out of 10. Damn, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
I know it seems like I've been giving every movie review a 10 out of 10. Snake Eyes and Suicide Squad.
Then you gave Snake Eyes 10 out of 10
well,
too?
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Whoa, okay.
Only
'cause
because
Snake Eyes 3
only
was
because
like
okay,
2.
I only gave it that. No,
Okay,
remember,
let's finish this a lot. Let's
well,
finish
hold on,
that.
hold on. I gotta defend myself now.
Oh, yeah.
I gave it a 2 as
That's
a
cool
GI.
if you enjoy it. I don't care about that.
Well, no, I gave it a 2 as a GI Joe movie because it absolutely sucked as a GI Joe movie, and like you said, the character's horrible and everything. But in terms of action, I loved it because it was so action packed, and I didn't fall asleep during it. So that's why I
Yeah.
gave it such a high score. But that's why I split it. But when we went our overall score, I think I gave it like a 6.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's the only reason. Like once again, kind of like here, I split it as a kung fu movie. It's a 10, but even as an overall movie, it was a 10 because I just thoroughly enjoyed it.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
just thoroughly enjoyed this
score.
movie. I was lost in it the whole time. I wasn't like bored at any point. I was thoroughly invested in the storyline.
Yeah.
It was a thrilling. You didn't know what was going to happen up until the end. So I absolutely loved it. What do you have to say before we get into spoilers?
My score for the movie, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I would give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like no freaking
I think
joke.
the Rotten Tomato score kind
It
of
was
proves that true.
98%. That's freaking insane. Even if it drops down to 92, if it stays in the 90s, like that's a good rate. That's still representative of like
Majority.
That's
Yeah.
a big score. I'd give it 10 out of 10. I was thoroughly enjoyed from literally start to finish.
Yeah.
Honestly, Shang-Chi is so freaking likable to me, like in terms of a character. Like
I want to see more.
I liked him instantly, and the actor Aquafina, the one who plays his friend Nikki, that's her name,
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Yeah. But they were freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I want to see more of them instantly.
So then
And I don't feel that way a lot about like characters. I enjoy obviously all the duos that Marvel sets up. I do enjoy that, but like they just felt so natural and cool, and like they didn't feel like they were trying too hard, but yet they were doing an awesome job.
Yeah.
Like it was
They just had good chemistry
yeah,
on
it
screen.
was cool. It was
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. 10 out of 10 for sure on the movie, and freaking badass action. Like I was thoroughly blown away by every fight scene that was happening. Like even some parts, like they were awesome. Like the action was totally dope. I really have never seen stuff like that before.
No,
I
yeah,
guess
that's
if
what I'm
you can
saying.
compare it to like
John Wick.
like
Or
fighting
even
style in the
Matrix.
beginning, Matrix, John Wick style, and then when you get to the
Ironically,
end,
Keanu
it's
Reeves in both movies.
It's like anime. I don't watch anime, but from what I've even seen, anything from fights from anime, that has to be
The most-
somewhat comparable. That's
Yeah.
the only thing I could think of is dragons, the freaking way they're using all their skills, dude. It's
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah.
It was awesome. 10 out of 10 for sure. I've been I'm for sure gonna buy this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, this is definitely one that I would definitely
this in
add to
4
my collection
want
and
this in
be
4K
able to
Ultra.
watch wherever I want,
Yeah.
whenever I want,
I want this in 4K
whether or not
for
I have
sure.
Disney Plus or not. So
Yeah.
yeah, and honestly, the second it comes on Disney Plus for free,
Yeah.
bro, I'm gonna watch it.
Thank God the times you live in, that shit's probably gonna be in sale in Best Buy in like a month, and Disney Plus in like 2 months.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cruella's already on Disney Plus for free, so
Yeah.
and that came out like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So in about 3 months, we'll have
June,
Shang-Chi.
I think it came out.
We'll have
Like,
Shang-Chi in 3 months, so probably around Christmas time.
Yeah, probably in December it'll probably be added. That definitely seems like a December movie to add.
Yeah, right
Like
before the
November,
holidays.
maybe like November, December. on
Especially
Disney
and
Plus.
honestly, especially as big as it's gonna get, they'll get a bunch of streams during that time.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
Freaking awesome movie, dude.
Yeah, a great movie. All right.
Awesome.
So, anything else you want to say before we get into spoilers, or you want to get?
No,
right
I'm
into spoilers?
super ready for spoilers.
All right. So, guys, we're gonna get into spoilers. So, we'll give you a few seconds before we get there. All right, guys. So that is ample enough time for you guys to have left or be ready to join us for this next conversation of spoilers. So, you want to start off? You said you have a lot to say, so go for it, man.
Yeah, the character, the actor Aquafina, who plays, I believe it's Nikki, right?
Katie.
Or Katie. There you go.
Katie.
There you go. I knew it was one of those. Let me look up Shang-Chi just so I can get the reference to the... I know I said I liked it so much, but, it's fresh from seeing it. It's hard to just recollect everything, you know what I mean? We literally just saw it, you know what I mean?
Saw it. Pizza.
Katie, you're right. Perfect, Katie.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was awesome, dude. Like, especially, I loved how in the beginning, like, they gave you enough to what you need to know to start the movie, and it's a dream, because it's something that always affects him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, his, like, mom dying and stuff. And all that shit happening. And it's dope how they're just, like, normal ass... They just want to chill.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, we don't give a fuck. Like, we're just valet parkers. We're just chilling. We're just going to go... They're just normal... They just felt like normal ass people. Like, in the beginning. That was cool.
Yeah, you're right. I like how, like you said, how they only give us that bit of the story. And it keeps us invested. But just invested enough to see what's going on. But at the same time, you kind of forget about it. And then when they come back, you're like, oh, shit,
it's continuing. It's a nice puzzle piece as you're watching it. And you're like, oh. Yeah,
okay. Like I said, you kind of forget about it.
It's a good... I think that was a good way to understand motives as the story went along.
Yeah.
Because,
they kind of filled you in.
It would either, like, a flashback would happen, and then something would happen, and then you'd understand motives. Or it would be, like, vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, and then someone would do something, and then maybe, like, 20 minutes later, it would... do a flashback where it like makes sense,
No, yeah. So,
but that was that was cool. No, my bad. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say for me, it was kind of interesting that he chose that lifestyle. So for me, it was more like it was interesting how this movie told the whole perspective of the story. You know what I mean? It was It was, like you said, it was enough for you to be invested in, but at the same time, you felt like you learned a lot about the character without learning a lot about the character, just by seeing his actions. And then when it became clear who he was, like, obviously, us as the audience, we know who he is. Cause
he's going to become great. He has... he's a fucking badass. But for me... You just don't know... Like, you just like to see them...
But for me, it was the part that his friend didn't know, Katie.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'll be honest, I thought she would have known, like, I thought he would have let her in or something, but the fact that she didn't know was a surprise. I was like,
that was cool when they're on the bus, and she was like, what the hell?
And he's like, I gotta tell you something.
He's like, and he's like, dude, that whole bus, every fight scene was freaking badass. The bus fight scene was freaking awesome. The way he fights is freaking super cool.
That's what I'm saying. It was legit. Awesome. That's what I'm saying. It was a very good kung fu movie because it was just an all-around great kung fu movie. It had amazing action scenes. The choreography was amazing in terms of the action and fighting and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't your typical fight scenes anyways. He was doing some pretty unique moves. Like it was literally keeping you on the edge of your seat. You're like, what the hell is he gonna do next? Because he was like split kicking guys, running up walls, avoiding a dude with a knife and everything. Like, just doing a bunch of crazy shit.
Awesome stuff, dude. Awesome.
I mean, I gotta give it to the actor. I'm sure he was on wires for most of it, but at the same time, like,
super. He's a cool. Yeah, super cool. Like, especially with the his dad as well. The real, Mandarin at this point, right?
Yeah, technically, because he says he's gone by many names. He never says Mandarin.
Yeah, yeah, it's freaking badass. The way he uses the 10 rings.
Talking about the Mandarin. Oh, but yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was saying how he uses the rings is so. It was so freaking badass how he was using it. Like how they were showing in the beginning of the movie of, like freaking way back then.
Oh, honey, he was using it
like
as a shield. He was like
a
whipping
giant army, and he was just like
taking him out,
like throwing whips, and, like went all the way down to the castle. And
at first, I thought it was like more like Thanos' gauntlet, where he was like projecting things, and then I realized he's actually throwing the rings.
Yeah, that's freaking. I had no idea
like,
how he was going to use it.
At first, it looks like he's just using like it was just like energy shooting out and everything. Then it comes to like you realize like, oh shit, he's actually throwing the rings and they're coming back. Like,
yeah, it was dope. They're like razor blades.
Yeah,
like,
or
almost.
Dude.
Yeah. They were
dude.
like going so quick. It was like a shield.
Like an energy shield. Yeah. He was able to throw him. He was able to like fly and launch and do all sorts of things. Dude, remember at the end when he put all 10 on one arm and he just started like wailing on the door?
Dude, yeah, and he was just going ham on that door, dude.
Dude, that was crazy.
that was dope, dude. That movie was freaking cool. It was
That's
creative,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
creative as hell, dude.
It was a all around
especially
great
after
movie.
I don't think Black Widow was a bad movie. I liked it actually, but coming from Black Widow being such a run of the mill movie to Shang-Chi, dude, that is free. Like, it's so badass, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it was so creative. It was so out there. It was cool, dude. Like,
but you mentioned the Mandarin, and
dude,
the Mandarin does make an appearance in a way.
Man, he does.
I was very
3.
surprised
When he showed up, I was like,
that's why I didn't recognize him at first, especially because he had, you know,
and it
hair
wasn't
and
even
stuff.
just a throwaway.
Yeah,
he
he was
stick around for a while, dude.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, he was one of my favorite fucking characters.
It was funny, dude. He was a funny dude on the side.
Yeah, you're like, okay, this guy actually had something to
Especially
offer.
at the end, he's like laying down. And they're like playing dead.
Yeah,
he's like, just play your part.
He's like, don't worry, we're good. No, that guy was actually pretty funny. No, I was like you said, it wasn't just a throwaway. Usually, you know, sometimes something like that, they always just like, oh, here's
It's
the little.
It's cool how the
fan
MCU
service.
is so freaking large. You can reference back a character from like 2013 and just do whatever you want. Like
People
that.
know.
And who would have ever thought in Iron Man 3 back in 2013 that freaking fool would be in 2021 in Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi, my bad, yeah.
Makes it
like,
clear in the movie that Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi,
but,
my bad, yeah, Shang-Chi. No, they do it like that because
Yeah,
people will say Shang-Chi.
And Shang.
Yeah, it's a bunch of so Shang-Chi.
So,
okay,
yeah, he makes it very clear, Shang-Chi. So, anyway, Trevor was definitely a great addition to this cast and a surprise at that. Like,
yeah.
Kind of like when we saw Suicide Squad and they had, what was the guy that died? And they were all like, wait, Melvin? It was Melvin, right? It was Melvin.
Oh,
yeah.
Melvin, the random dude.
Yeah, he's like, Melvin.
He was like, oh, Melvin. And Harley Quinn's like, who's Melvin?
Yeah, and Polka Dot Man's like, he was with us the whole time.
He was with us the entire time.
He's been helping us.
Yeah.
And she's like,
He sacrificed
oh,
his life.
Melvin.
And she was, that was funny. Yeah, that was a good part.
Bloodsport's like, I thought he was still in the van.
Yeah, and he's like, what?
He's been with us.
And I was like, what the heck?
That was a good movie.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie. So if you guys haven't seen that movie, or if you have, check out our review. I reviewed it with this guy, of course, on episode, what was that, like 4 or 3, something like that?
I don't know, something like that.
One of
Yeah,
those
definitely check that movie out. It's on, I think it's still on HBO Max.
But you have to have the premium subscription because you have the ad version. They won't let you see it.
Oh, that's right. There's 2 different versions now of HBO Max.
I'm cheap. I pay for the one with the ads, so I can't see it.
I can see that. Like, if you know, some ads aren't bad. Apps I use, I have the.
No, it's not bad at all. It's like, honestly, less than YouTube ads, I'll be honest, which is nice, but you can't watch the new Suicide Squad movie or any of the new movies.
Oh, that's right. They're not even listed on there.
Yeah, I searched it up and it says upgrade to package to next package.
Yeah.
So.
To be fair, that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
It's a brand new movie,
film,
so yeah, it makes sense. But
they want some cash back from
but anyways, we're not talking about the Suicide Squad this time. We're talking about Shang-Chi, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, getting after Trevor. So, besides that, what else do you want to talk about? I personally,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I personally want to talk about how I never knew whether the father was telling the truth or not, because in a way he was. In his mind, he was.
Like, he really was hearing that.
That's what I'm saying. In
he
his
was just
mind,
so obsessed with
reuniting with his wife.
Of course, he was so, he's so heartbroken that, if anyone heard their loved one reaching out, they would be like, no, like, I need it. I mean, it's really happening to him, so he has no reason to believe it's not true.
Yeah.
Like, he literally hears it. It's just what happens when you wear the 10 rings for 1,000 years, basically.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying, like, you never know whether or not he's actually telling the truth or not. You feel like he's not being truthful, but at the same time,
is he just saying this to get him to go along?
But then he's putting so much feeling and empathy into it. But then
he puts the emeralds and the
and
dragon.
it fucking actually proves that they work and stuff.
Yeah, it shows the map and the flowers, and I was like, oh shit! It was like, he's actually telling the truth.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But at the same time, throughout the whole time, you don't know if he's actually telling the truth or if he's just telling them this story to get him on his side.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't sure about that at one point.
And that's the thing about most modern movies is, like, you can tell by the beginning what the people's
most movies
are.
I watched today. The first 20 minutes in, I could basically.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing. There's no surprises.
I can basically kind of plan the movie out already. You know what I mean? Of course, not all movies, but most general movies, you kind of get the gist of
I'll be
what's gonna
surprised.
happen.
I was really surprised when this movie started on the bus.
Yeah, I feel like this movie started pretty quick.
I mean, I only saw the trailer once or twice, so I wasn't like, oh, I knew it was like a big scene and everything. Because obviously, now that I think about it, it is on the trailer, so I should have known they're on the bus.
That's the only trailer I remember seeing. Was that the first main trailer that they showed?
I believe
is
so.
when he gets down on the bus.
Yeah, because they really only show off the first part of. They don't. That's the thing about this trailer. They did a really good job of not showing too much.
The only thing I remember seeing from marketing, in my opinion, is seeing him get drunk with his friend and like a DJ, and the bus scene, and that's all I really remember from
the marketing.
That trailer.
That's what I'm saying. They did a really good job at hiding the actual film while enticing us to come to the film. It was just so every action scene was just so good that they were able to throw in that first initial action scene. And it was such a great scene that it should entice you to go see that movie. If you just want to see great kung fu, even if you don't want to see for it being a Marvel film,
just as an action, if you want to just go see a badass action movie,
that's what I'm saying. If you don't even want to see a Marvel film, you don't even have to know anything about Marvel film until the end credit scene. Yeah, that's when you have to know anything about the Marvel film.
You don't even need to know the backstory of any Marvel. It's just such an isolated
movie,
like story that it. You know, you don't even need to know the Marvel MCU back catalog. Like, just go see it as a movie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as a kung fu movie, it's really great. Like, you don't have to.
And maybe it'll make you want to watch Marvel movies, maybe, but you don't have to
see Marvel movies,
any of them, to enjoy.
Yeah, because really, the only references they make is when she says, like, "Oh, we live in a world where half the people can disappear,
and come back,"
and then also the Mandarin. Those are the only parts. But even with the Mandarin being in there, he basically tells you
he could just be some he
tells you what happened, so you get you understand. And even he plays
even the dad's like some full
not just that, he plays such a small part in Iron Man. Was it 2, right?
No, he's a big part in Iron Man 3. He's the main villain. He's the main fake villain up until the end, where Tony Stark goes and confronts him with the gun. And then he's like, oh shit, I'm just an actor.
Oh, like, I thought that happened in the first like half of the film. That's why.
It's like leading up to the climax of the film.
Okay.
That's leading up to the climax, like 75% of the film, probably right there. But that's when it's like, oh shit, I'm just an actor. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've only seen that movie once. That's what the dad's explaining, so like this dude's impersonating.
Yeah.
Adrian Killian, I think that was his name.
Was it? Ooh.
That was a dude who was like the
fire guy. Yeah. I was thinking Trevor, but I was like, it wasn't his name Trevor. But no, you're talking about the main villain, who was Adrian. Yeah. So, all in all, it was a great, like you said, you don't have to see it as a Marvel film. That's why I personally have to rate it as 2 separate films, because I don't see it as a Marvel film, even though it is a part of it, and I want to see it now, especially after that end credit scene.
Yeah, if you didn't see if you were like late to the movie, like if someone like bought you a free ticket and says, "Hey, you want to go see this movie?" and you walked in and missed the Marvel logo,
you wouldn't know.
The person, and if you told your friend at the end, "Hey, wasn't that a good Marvel movie?" they'd be like, "What the fuck?"
That's what I'm saying.
That's a Marvel movie, like, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. It's so disconnected from the actual Marvel universe that it doesn't feel like it. That's why I'm having to rate it in 2 separate ways, and that's the only reason I rate it so low as a Marvel film, because a Marvel film feels connected to the MCU, and that's what I'm saying. It's not a bad thing.
See, yeah, I knew it's funny because it's like what you're rating it so low for is the reason why I'm rating it so high, which is not a bad thing. Which I think it's so.
But in my overall, in my overall score, that's why I'm rating it so high in my overall score.
I know you like the movie.
Although,
I think it's funny how
but look,
the way we rate it.
I rate it as a 2 as a Marvel film in terms of storyline and connectivity to the MCU and everything around it. In terms of MCU films that I've seen that I like, I definitely rate it in my top 5.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, like, in terms of it being connected to the MCU, like, there's, like, Thanos reference after Iron Man reference after, kind of like a Spider-Man 2 film, like a Far From Home.
It's like Far From Home. In the beginning, they're like, Iron Man's dead.
There was a blimp. You know what I mean? It was just like constant. It was just constant stuff from the MCU.
Don't forget Iron Man.
That's what I'm saying. It was just constant.
He saved the world.
It was just constant stuff from the MCU, whereas this one it wasn't. So in that sense,
of fresh air. It was like,
but that's what I'm saying. In that sense, I rated it 2 because it's like, when you think about it, if you're rating something in terms of connectivity, it was definitely just not connected to the MCU. So that'd be a 2.
It's funny because I just think it's so funny because that's why I rate it so highly.
No.
On the Marvel, if I'm gonna go on your Marvel scale, that's why I rate it. Like, if you're gonna rate it, like, I'm just gonna do it like as your Marvel rating. Like,
But that's what I'm saying. But even as a Marvel rating, I have to split it in terms of like connectivity to the story and overall Marvel films. Like, I would put it up there with the Spider-Man film. Like, I'd go, it
was freaking cool, dude.
Endgame, Infinity War, Spider-Man, Shang-Chi. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, in terms of overall MCU films, it is definitely one of the top 5. But in terms of connectivity to the MCU and like feeling like it's an MCU film because it's connected to the MCU, I give it a 2 because it doesn't feel that way until the very end, or maybe when he first sees Wong and Abomination fighting.
Yeah.
Those are really the only 2 points that you're like, oh, that's right, this takes place in the MCU. Yeah. So that's why I rated it a 2 in that sense. But in terms of the overall, like, what would you say, 24 MCU films, I rated it probably in my top 5.
Yeah.
Or at least in my top 7, right there, because obviously the 2 Spider-Man films that we have, Civil War, Endgame.
Civil War.
A lot of people put Infinity War over Endgame, but I feel like Endgame is a lot better.
Fuck, that's hard for me, dude, because sometimes I want to put Infinity War in front of Endgame, but then it's just the epicness of Endgame.
That's what I'm saying. It's just too epic. It's too epic.
But they're just they're both peak superhero movies. And don't get me wrong, Shang-Chi is amazing movie. Like, it's an awesome movie, but like in terms of, I feel like, comic book crossover, who knows? Honestly, I'm not even going to say this anymore, actually, because I'm already blown away how I thought Marvel might hit like maybe like
a wall
where their movies aren't bad and they're not great. They're just like, okay, that was a movie. I just watched that was a movie.
Yeah.
Like, thumbs up, moving on.
And see, that's how I feel. And see, that's what I feel Eternals is going to be.
With Shang-Chi was like, raised the bar so high for me. I was like, whoa, creativity to the max. Who the freak, who directed this shit, dude? Let me look that up.
I'm pretty sure it was, I think they went to a Chinese director. And if I'm not mistaken, they even filmed it in China.
Destin Daniel Cretton.
Oh, there you go. And he did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I
shout out to him.
Yeah.
Because that was
I want to see him direct. I'd honestly,
awesome, dude.
I want to see him direct a DC. Well, obviously he wouldn't direct a DC film at this point because he's connected to the MCU. Yeah. But imagine he can do a DC film.
DC's turning around with if DC can keep up Suicide Squad's decentness, like, you know what I mean. Like, if they can just keep up with their solo, just DC just on a side note with DC, just excuse me, they just need to stick to their individual movies. Like, you know what I mean? Joker, awesome. Suicide Squad, awesome. Just focus on the story you want to tell.
Yeah.
And later on, if you want to branch that shit together, then do it.
But see, that's, you know what I mean? But see, that's what they were supposed to do originally, because that's what the MCU did.
Just,
and see,
just stick doing DC.
But
just
okay,
stick to your
but
own
okay,
isolated films.
But that's
be good.
But see, that's but what you're saying is exactly what the MCU did, and that's what works. Because look, the only thing that connected Iron Man to the greater MCU. That's why they're so
successful. Because I think they can dip into both. They can be isolated. This is why they can be isolated like Shang-Chi, but then the coolness of it being in the bubble of like, oh, that's the same world as Iron Man and Captain
But that's what I'm saying.
America.
Especially like the first few movies weren't connected until those end credit scenes.
Yeah,
in a sense, the overarching story themselves were isolated events that didn't have anything to do with the overall MCU besides what was happening at the moment. But those end credit scenes are what brought it together into the MCU.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what DC should have done. They should have done Man of Steel, Batman, Wonder Woman, Man of Steel 2, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, which was when Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman would meet up.
And if you really had to, scrap Man of Steel sequel. As much as I would love that,
I think you and everybody else
make a Batman movie at least. If you're gonna do the Batman v Super, like,
well, hold on, you misheard me. You misheard me. I said Superman, Man of Steel, Batman.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Man of Steel 2. And I
would say I could even accept no Man of Steel 2. Like if I could rearrange.
No. What if you did Man of Steel, BVS. Batman, BVS, Wonder Woman, so we get introduced to Wonder Woman, and then Dawn of Justice, where Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman meet up the Trinity.
So you would think, it's just Marvel at that point was
it's because they were trying to play
ramping
catch
up
up
to Infinity War,
and they were trying to play catch
at the
up.
peak of Marvel right there, and DC just
they were like, we need to catch up in 10 years.
Man, they were so desperate.
But that's so
I'm
stupid
sorry,
because
DC, you were so freaking desperate at that point. I'm sorry. Like,
they were, because literally, if they would have planned it out that way and taken their time, they would have still been peaking past Endgame.
It's almost like...
And they would have put in the same amount of work.
It's almost as if they would watch a Marvel film in their own studio, and then they would all take notes. And then they would literally, that night, call that director or editor...
The next movie that was coming out for the DC
and say, you know what?
We need to change this.
Yeah, we need to put this in there, because based off all these reviews and data we got...
Off of this Marvel film.
People are liking these kind of jokes and laughs, and they like this tone. So this movie had a lot of music, and it looked like a lot of people liked music.
Yeah, and a lot of pop music, a lot of fancy pop single music.
Make a big playlist for this movie, because Guardians had a big playlist, and people like that. That movie made almost $1 billion. So
and this is our Guardians, so we need that too. So
fucking sad, dude. That's so sad.
Not just that, but who hires a trailer company to cut a movie? They're literally considered a trailer company because they cut trailers. They don't cut fucking movies. You don't hire an electrician to do a welder's job. You don't hire a welder to do a plumber's job.
I think it's that fool. I think one of the writers on there, I think it's Chris Terrio. He's like one of the ones who's like one of the writers throughout the DCU, and he's so bad, dude. So bad.
Although
he helped, even on an extension of this side note, out of all the people they asked to help write for Rise of Skywalker, they asked the guy who helped write BVS in Justice League. That's a side note. Everyone just keep that in mind, okay? That's who they chose to help write that movie.
I just want everybody to know that I waited 14 fucking years of my life for BVS. Biggest letdown of my life to date. To date.
Rip.
Probably longer, because we were in college when it came out, right?
That movie aged a little bit better than how I initially felt.
Only because the other movies that followed it were such trash.
But all the problems I felt from the beginning are still there.
Oh.
I'm able to ignore them now.
Only because it's one of the better films.
I'm able to watch it now like it's a cartoon. Like it's just it's just nonsense. Like I'm here to watch a big dude punch this dude for nothing else for it.
But for 2 minutes? Because then they fight Doomsday.
That's why I just
that movie went from Batman v Superman to fucking just Dawn of Justice versus Doomsday.
If you want the gist of BVS, just like look up the main scenes in 4K on YouTube, and like you'll get the gist of the whole film. Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere anyways. Don't watch the 3-hour version's better, but it doesn't go anywhere anymore. It's like Amazing Spider-Man 2. I love that movie on the low key. It's okay, but it goes nowhere.
It's your guilty pleasure.
Yeah, it's a guilty pleasure movie. Like it goes nowhere.
Yeah. Because they set up, they literally set up the Sinister Six. They show you the Vulture's wings.
Sony will murder for the Sinister Six to appear in films. They will go.
They are.
They're doing it now, obviously.
Well, yeah, finally.
Disney
and they had to pull some fucking serious strings. Dude, they had to pull some serious strings.
Kevin Feige had to do some witchcraft to help Sony write a goddamn Spider-Man film
with the Sinister Six, because they were like, we got to get the old Hawk back. So we have to introduce a new one. We got to get the old Electro back.
Sony was so gun ho on getting a universe together. They were just throwing up BS into all this film. Like, I watched it the other day. I liked it. I didn't skip any parts. I legit just watched this the other day, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Mm-hmm. I didn't skip any parts. I actually thoroughly enjoyed the whole movie. I mean, of course, there's still its problems, and I still feel the same way. It's, fucking characters have like zero time to develop. But
I just can't get over how cool
I enjoy how they approach everything. I like the way the Spider-Man is in the world, the way he swings, swinging.
Well, it makes sense because
swinging is like a big acrobatic thing for in that universe. Like when he's trying to chase Electro, he's like webbing it, and he has to like climb it to go higher so he doesn't smack the building below him. And you know what I mean? It's cool the way he swings. I
feel like Sam Raimi would have brought the same thing had technology allowed it.
Sam Raimi. Oh, if you're gonna pull in Sam Raimi, I think he would have freaking. He's gonna wipe anyone's ass. I think with the Spider-Man.
I'm just saying, like, because like what he did was great, but at the same time, it's limited, so you couldn't get what you said with Andrew Garfield climbing up the rope because it came out in what 2013.
No, it's Amazing Spider-Man. No, hold on. Amazing Spider-Man 2 special effects are better than.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying when did it come out? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When did they come out?
2014 is Amazing Spider-Man 2.
That's what I'm saying. The reason you can see such great CGI is because it came out in 2014 versus Sam Raimi's in 2001.
Oh, I still love Sam Raimi's one. I love that. Oh, yeah. Natural. I love all
But what I'm saying is I feel like Sam Raimi would have had more scenes because there are scenes where you can't see the POV of Spider-Man, like he's swinging. And I feel like they would have done more of that had the technology allowed for it.
Yeah. No, first,
know what I mean?
I got recommended a video on YouTube, and it was a report of Spider-Man 4 being canceled. And it was like an 11-year-old video. And they were like, Sony has decided to cancel the 2011 release of Spider-Man 4. And it looks like they're looking to move on and reboot the franchise. And I was like watching that, and I was like, fucking bummer, bro.
Isn't it a trip?
Bummer as hell. And that was John Campia. If anyone watches that, that's that dude. I know sometimes I reference him.
Probably.
But I'm not trying to do a shout out or anything. But that's the video that was like in everything. Like in the record. It was like 11 years old. And he was like reporting it. Like,
was YouTube around back then? Well, obviously.
Oh yeah, dude.
When did
I've been rocking on YouTube since like 07, maybe 08. I swear, YouTube used to look like eBay, dude.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like freaking Blue Link shit.
Do you remember the original icon on the iPhone?
It was like Craigslist.
Remember the original icon on the iPhone when it was like the old style TV?
Oh, dude, yeah, the iPhone only YouTube video.
Yeah, it was like the actual one that came with the software, and then they had like a fault, and then they
never ever played anything in HD unless you were connected to Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
like
that. Yeah,
you can have like at the time 3G. If you can have that all the way up, it would literally play nothing but like 360p, like 40.
Yeah.
It was only good for like music.
Yeah, really.
I mean, to be fair, back then trailers weren't really. Yeah. The most trailers were posted was like 720. So if you're watching 480, it'd be like the equivalent of watching like 1080p on a 4K TV.
That makes sense.
Nowadays, like that makes sense. It's not bad. At least
back then. Yeah, the screen was
iPhone 4 is like a little 4-inch screen. You know? It's like
it's crazy how big. It probably was on the screen itself. Like the actual screen itself probably was that size.
I really think this seems like a 4-inch screen. Oh my god!
Fuck technology, bro.
12 Pro Max is like ginormous compared
to
like
a mini iPad.
For real, freaking huge.
So, anyways, I think we diverted from Shang-Chi long enough.
Oh, yeah. Let's go back to Shang-Chi. Honestly, I don't know about you, but I still have a lot to talk about on Shang-Chi.
The floor is yours, man.
Dude, that movie had my palms sweating, dude.
When they're on the side of the building fighting, fuck yeah, dude. Dude, my palms are sweating.
And Katie was like hanging on, and she was like,
dude, that's when my palms started to like really sweat. I was like, oh,
because she's like, she's perfect.
Normal.
It's perfect writing because she's us.
Yeah,
and she's
the audience.
We're us just being thrown
into this world.
Yeah, so it's like me hanging off of
a building,
the freaking bamboo building. Yeah, like on a bamboo stake, like that. And like I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, grab her, hurry! And like when he was like, it was badass as hell too. When he saw her falling, and he just went into like freaking God mode, and he was just like, oh, he
started like fucking just like jumping through everything, fucking everybody up real quick.
Shang-Chi is badass, dude. I want to see him immediately.
Yeah, dude. I want a sequel. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to I usually don't like it when Marvel announces sequels so quick because I'm like, all right, dude, let me like
breathe.
Let me enjoy the first movie. Okay, let me see if.
But I really thoroughly want to know what I want to see more.
I want his sequel announced.
Yeah.
Like,
it better be announced by Monday, bro. Yeah, it has to be. Honestly, with the rating that it has, I really hope
98% on, even if it lowers to 90, to the fact that it launched on its weekend with almost 100%.
I just hope the box office
almost on both sides is fucking balling, dude. Please go see this in theater.
Yeah, please.
Please go see it in theater. Like,
not only that, but do it not only for this movie, but for Spider-Man. Because if this bombs, they may delay Spider-Man.
If you really have to watch it at home on Disney
No,
Plus.
no.
But
Watch it
please
in
go
theaters.
support. Like,
Watch it in
please.
theaters, because if not, they may potentially delay Spider-Man. They did delay a lot of movies.
Yeah.
So
I hate Disney. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, dude, as a company. But go support the MCU, like Marvel Studios. Like,
but that's still supporting Disney.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like but
Well,
just like
what is
go
it about Disney that you hate?
I wouldn't. Okay, I don't hate Disney necessarily, but
Because think about it. You say you hate Disney on YouTube, you're gonna get a lot of comments.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
Elaborate before people start sending you death threats and
most
Mickey shows
people-
up at your door like,
No, most
"Oh,
people,
I heard you talking about me."
most people would probably agree with me. Disney is a little.
Okay,
they're just
yeah.
overreact. They're
Yeah.
the way they run their stuff, dude, is just super.
Yeah.
It's super. Trust me, people know. Like, just I can pull up a million examples, but I want to talk about Shang-Chi. But with Shang-Chi, it was awesome, especially with the whole platforming thing when they were doing on the side of the building.
Yeah.
Dude, and especially when she fell and the sister caught her, I was like,
Yeah, dude. I honestly thought, I was like, how are they gonna save her? I
was
really
like-
didn't know how they were gonna save her.
I was
didn't
like,
know what
no
he was gonna
freaking
do.
way they're killing her. I was like, is she gonna land on something that's like?
Yeah, or I thought he was gonna do some.
Floor-
I
I
don't
don't know,
know. Yeah,
something,
dude.
like-
That's what I'm saying. Like, it literally, I had
Is there
no
like a
idea.
dumpster at the bottom with like?
Bunch of pillows,
like a bunch of
mattresses, but
something,
that's what I'm
like-
saying. Like, this movie literally kept you on the edge of your seat. It was so thrilling and epic.
Yeah, and their whole like friendship, which leads into looks like a relationship at the end.
Yeah.
Where she cuddles with him, which I hope they do. I'm totally for that. I'm totally for that. Like, I'm cool if they're
it
friends
was fine.
still, but like
They had
I
good
feel
chemistry.
Like they're so cool together that I
Whether
feel like
they stayed
yeah.
friends or became a couple, to me, didn't matter.
Both are
Just
awesome.
the fact that they're
Yeah.
continuing the storyline with both of them, I'm happy with that.
I'm cool with either version if they want to go with.
That's what I'm saying.
super
Either way
cool
they want-
friends
yeah.
Or together.
That's what I'm saying.
Cool with either one, but awesome. Like every fight scene, especially with
That's what I'm saying.
with
For
the
me,
rings.
for me,
oh
I
my
can
gosh, the
I
rings were
compare the
so
fight
sick.
scenes to John Wick, because John Wick is heavy on those kung fu fight scenes, martial arts, fast fight scenes, and this one definitely had it. And also with like John
As if
Wick,
John
it had
Wick
the
was like a
storyline.
fantasy film. Like
Not just that, but if like. Well, the only reason I'm saying John Wick is because it's so heavy on the action.
No,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
good on the action. At the same time, the storyline is great.
Yeah, no, I
You know
no,
what I
I get
mean?
what you mean. It's such one-on-one combat, like just.
Yeah. So, for me, that's the best thing we have to compare
Yeah.
nowadays. Unless you want to go to Enter the Dragon, but I mean, nobody can compare to Bruce Lee.
Yeah,
I mean, they looked okay. Did you know? Okay, did you know this fun fact about Bruce Lee, that his moves were so fucking fast? They literally had to slow the film down so that the audience can witness it, because he would move so fast the camera could barely capture it back then.
Damn.
So they had to, like, when they edited the film, they would slow down his fight scenes because he was so fast, and it would still look like he was moving in real time despite them moving it in slow
Imagine
motion.
getting hit by that.
Dude,
Ugh.
Bruce
Man.
Lee was a fucking legend.
Yeah,
Rest in peace, bro.
Unless you've seen, he's a legend in everything. Unless you watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, but Tarantino.
Yeah. No, it's still a good movie. Honestly, it's not a bad movie.
No, yeah. I just Tarantino took some shots at him.
Yeah, he did,
You
yeah.
can tell he took some shots at him. So.
yeah.
And people made that known. They're like,
Oh,
really? Brad Pitt can
yeah,
beat Bruce Lee?
yeah, for
Sure.
sure, yeah.
Even in the fictional world, they were like, yeah, right.
Yeah, they knew.
Bruce Lee
They
is
knew.
just...
They knew what
dude,
they were doing.
Bruce
yeah.
Lee was just... dude, imagine if we had Bruce Lee as Shang-Chi. Dude, all that CGI work you saw would be
And
just
that's
him.
not even a diss for the actor, because I like.
Oh,
the
no, he
actor.
was great. I'm just...
Yeah, but that would be cool. That would be cool
The
as hell.
legend, the dragon in
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, dude. Fuck.
Legend of the Dragon in Shang-Chi, where there is a dragon. Did we mention that? There's a freaking dragon. Dude, can we... Okay, hold on. I feel like we've talked about so much of the movie, and yet there's so much to the movie. It's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the gist real quick, just of the whole movie. So the dad thinks the wife, who is dead, is calling out to him to save him in her town. You know what I mean? So, like, that's interesting enough to me, because that's enough motivation I need. I don't like if they go deeper than that. I appreciate it, but that's like, if you can just give me even that for a villain, I'm cool with that, and I can relate to that. Just imagine any close one.
Yeah, dying.
Thinking there's like he's literally hearing it.
Yeah.
So, like we were saying earlier, there's no reason for him not to think
My
that
wife's
that's
calling
happening.
me. Yeah.
And he's so brainwashed. He's still the villain, but he's so brainwashed in hearing that he doesn't care. There's literally demons coming out of this,
the sky,
sacred cave.
Yeah, and he's still like, I gotta free her.
And she's still calling out to him. And, you know what I mean? She's like, nah, dude. Like, she's fucking calling me.
Yeah.
And that was cool. Like, especially just like the whole, like, I had understood it. Like, you know what I mean? And they weren't necessarily. It's like they were fighting each other, and then they knew they didn't want to like kill each other. I like how they were fighting each other. It was like enough, but like, you know what I mean. They knew they didn't want to like truly like go too far. Like especially at, like when they like come square off, and dude, it you know what I mean. At the end, like,
it seemed like the father. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it was such a suspenseful film because it seemed like the father truly loved his son and daughter. But and he also truly loved his wife, and that love drove him mad. He loved his family so much.
No one really felt in the wrong. Everyone seemed like they had their reasons.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But that's what I'm saying. The father literally loved his family so much that it drove him mad.
Yeah, exactly. Like his wife dies, and he goes. Yeah, he's murdering these people in a pretty brutal way, but these people are thugs. Real quick.
Like, talking about him murdering these thugs.
Dude, that scene.
Let's talk about how okay.
This wasn't cool. Ass scene. Dude.
This wasn't the Suicide Squad gruesome, but it had its moments. It had its moments of where you were like, oh shit, did the fucking Mickey Mouse just kick a guy out of a window?
Dude, I think Marvel is on a. I feel like they're a little bit more lenient on violence, and especially with like stabbing violence too. I feel like they've been allowing,
as long as it's not a gun, because remember, knives kids don't hurt people. It's only guns.
It's only the guns that are bad.
You know, knives are good. You can juggle knives, you can throw knives, you can play around with knives.
I feel like in the movies
it's just a joke.
Yeah.
You have to make that indication nowadays.
Disclaimer
because,
real quick.
We're joking. Not, do not do that. Do not play with knives. Please, you know, we're not
responsible.
Do it at home. If you do, we're not responsible. You didn't get the idea from us.
Exactly.
You never know these days on the internet. Some random person's gonna see, oh, I'm gonna go juggle some knives.
Yeah, exactly. But what was the last point I made on Shang-Chi? Oh, I forgot. Oh yeah, the stabbing violence in Marvel. I feel like it's gone. In the past couple of stuff they've released, I feel like it has to do with stabbing. Like Loki, I feel like there's a lot of stabbing in Loki, as well. I feel like that's all they do is use knives in Loki.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, there's no guns in the show.
Yeah, because he uses 2 daggers.
Yeah, and then they kill Kang. And with the Sylvie just stabs her right in the chest. Like, granted, there's no blood, but
I mean, at the same time, like they don't really kill them. They send them to that parallel end of time type of thing.
She kills that Kang. I feel like that Kang's dead.
Oh, Kang. Yeah,
just as that quick.
Oh,
if you're going based off that reference real quick.
For some reason, I was thinking of a different character. But Kang, when she stabs him at the end after she kicks Loki into the alternate time.
Yeah, she really kills that one.
Yeah.
But anyways,
because remember, it's a knife. It's not a gun. So you know, it only kills people in fantasy, whereas guns kill people in real life. It's not about the people that hold the guns.
Because you don't want people talking about guns.
You see a gun on the street corner, kids, you run the opposite way because it's going to shoot at you.
Exactly.
It's just leaning up against the wall, but it's going to shoot at you, so run the opposite way. But if you see a knife, you're 100% safe. You can walk into that thing, you're going to walk away unscathed. They'll stitch you up at the hospital, and you'll be good.
It's just like Amazing Spider-Man 1. Oh, I just watched that, too. Damn, I just watched all the Spidey films, dude.
I think you and everybody else. Did you hear that?
When he pulled out the knife, he's like, knives. I'm my one weakness. And he's like, oh, I'm just kidding. He's like, and he's like a dick. And he's like, starts beating him up.
And see, that's the one thing that honestly irks me the most about the Spider-Man, because he
does such an asshole Spider-Man, dude.
That's what I'm saying. He's
such like, I mean, granted, these guys are thugs and assholes.
For me,
he's like,
in my opinion,
he's like thrashing.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's never been the jock bully. For me, that interpretation of Spider-Man is as if Flash Thompson became Spider-Man. That's like Flash Thompson and Peter Parker combined.
The Amazing Spider-Man, that had to happen if they were going to reboot it, because if you didn't, then you're just watching something that's cheaper than what you just watched a couple years ago with the Sam Raimi. Like, imagine if they did the same approach with, like, Sam Raimi, and you're just like, dude, people would have just been like, where's my Spider-Man 4?
Yeah, but that's like going from a Batman that's...
still like that,
but that's like going from, like, a Batman that's, you know, a billionaire Bruce Wayne playboy to a poor, fucking ugly Bruce Wayne. Like, that's like one... Dude, Peter Parker is a teenage kid that struggles... and he's a
sure
nerd.
There's gotta
he
be
gets
some,
made fun.
like,
No,
I know
no.
I'm not. Like,
There's
the
not.
biggest
There's not.
comic. There's gotta
There's
be
not.
some.
There's not.
Peter Parker
There's not. I can guarantee.
Dude,
there's not. There's
some,
not.
yeah,
There's not. There's not a version of Peter Parker.
There's no way. There's
the whole
not.
point. There's a whole.
No
The
way
whole
there's
point. There's not. There's. I've read them. Trust me, dude. I've looked it up. There's the whole point of Peter Parker.
No way there's no Peter Parker out there in version of the comics where he's not a little bit cooler.
He's not, dude. He's not, because that's not Peter Parker. Peter Parker is a typical stereotypical nerd.
But if you're gonna go in terms of making a movie, and if you're gonna go,
it doesn't matter. Like I said, it's like turning Bruce Wayne into a rich playboy into a poor nobody.
You have to understand, it's like
it doesn't work.
If you're gonna reboot it,
it doesn't work. The whole
you have to make it different.
The whole reason, the whole reason Spider-Man and Peter Parker run under the radar is because he's a nerd, because he's not cool, because nobody pays attention to him.
Because like if you're gonna watch a movie like Spider-Man 3,
if Andrew Garfield walked into any high school at that time, instantly he'd become a popular kid just based off his cool looks. He was able to ride a skateboard. Peter Parker
in
the comics
bullied by Flash
because it's in the storyline, bro. But if I'm saying in real life,
it's still there.
I'm saying because it's in the storyline.
But exactly, but that goes to what you're saying still, because Spider-Man that still needs to happen with Spider-Man. Like
but what I'm saying is in real life, but what I'm saying is in real life, Andrew Garfield, if he was a real kid, he wouldn't walk in. He'd instantly be cool. He can ride a skateboard. Peter Parker is like an uncoordinated, uncool nerd.
He was cool Spider-Man. So I think I like him for being a cool Spider-Man.
I hate him for being a cool Spider-Man. That's why I like Tom Holland, because he's not a cool Spider-Man. He's like a nerdy Spider-Man. He has one friend. Now he has MJ.
I like Tom. I really enjoy the Tom Holland movies, but Tom Holland Spider-Man bothers me because he's not really.
If you look
at I'm gonna join the bandwagon and say he's not really Spider-Man. He's a good interpretation of him, but he's not really Spider-Man for me. I think I really thoroughly
Tobey Maguire.
No, but I really enjoy all of them. They're all my favorites. I literally will watch all of them with the equal amount of love, and I won't skip any of their scenes watching any of them, because I literally, unknowingly, now that I'm thinking about it, holy shit, I just rewatched, like throughout the past maybe 3-4 weeks, I think I just rewatched all the Spider-Man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just holy shit. I just and I enjoyed all of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and see, I will never rewatch an Amazing Spider-Man movie ever again in my life.
I don't blame you, though. I don't blame you. It's really a fucking mess, bro. It's a mess. Like,
not just that. Like I said, I just have too many problems with Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. He's too cool. Look at Tobey. Look at Tom. They're not cool.
Tobey's the best.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Sure. Well, yeah.
Tom Holland.
I'm just saying,
I would argue with Tom Holland. I'm just saying, look, because I just watched.
Okay, look, if you're playing odds by math, look at Tom Holland, look at Tobey Maguire. Okay. They have one friend. Tobey Maguire has no.
Far From Home.
No. That doesn't count. I'm talking about the first initial. Think about it. We're talking about the first movie in each series. Tobey Maguire has Harry Osborn. That's it. Tom Holland has Ned.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that. Homecoming. Yeah, he's just Ned.
Yeah.
And he did. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And he's okay. He becomes a little bit cooler towards the end, but he's still awkward.
Yeah.
But okay, Spider-Man. I just watched Far From Home, and
but even still, then,
everyone's even Flash punks on him with their.
Well, he calls him fucking Penis Parker.
They still
punking on him.
Yeah, that he's still like a bully, but it's like a modern bully where it's just like, oh, you pussy, what's up? Well, I mean, you know what I mean? Not that it's cool to call people that, or like,
I'm just saying.
Bully,
well, I mean, they had to. I mean, they had to clean it up.
It's less than like Amazing Spider-Man or like Sam Raimi, where
what happens in Amazing Spider-Man?
Where the bullies are like, me, you, right now, I'm gonna you up.
Oh,
you know, because the Flash and Homecoming and Far From Home, that. But it's the modern bully where it's just like, you loser, you dork.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more of a modern
take.
It's just like a punk classmate.
Yeah.
More of. I like that though.
It's more of an annoying person. Yeah.
I like it.
That's what I'm saying. But for me, it's just I can't deal with Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I can't. He's just too cool. It's just like if he was a kid in any typical high school, he'd be a cool kid. He can ride a skateboard. Technically, Peter Parker's supposed to be. Even after he gets his powers, he pretends to be uncoordinated, uncool, and weak, so that he doesn't let on to be that he's Spider-Man, you know?
Okay.
And that's the whole part of his act, is to be like unseen and everything, you know what I mean? Kind of like when Superman is Clark Kent, he's like a typical weak news reporter. He doesn't, he's always like, oh, please, thank you. Like, he's always kind of like, you know what I mean? So it shows like it's his opposite of when he's Superman, where when he's like an alpha, he's dominant. He's like, well,
No,
I'm like the strongest person on Earth. Like, it's a complete change in order to throw people off, and that's the whole point of Spider-Man. Whereas Andrew Garfield,
I like his coolness. I enjoy it.
I feel like for any other superhero it would work, but with Spider-Man, it just doesn't.
But also the Amazing Spider-Man, I like the coolness. I enjoy it, and I really like the weirdness. Spider-Man is weird. All comic books they're all weird, but Spider-Man inherently, its villains, they're weird. Like
it goes kind of like Batman,
and that's why
Batman's
I like
weird too.
That's why I like the Amazing Spider-Man, because
all heroes' villains are weird.
But I like how they embrace. I know that's what I'm saying. That comics inherently are weird, but I like how the Amazing Spider-Man, because the MCU is total fantasy and sci-fi and unrealistic. The MCU is. They try to be grounded. Like most of the Spider-Man villains, they're wearing a suit.
That's true.
Like, okay, don't get me wrong. Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi, they're wearing suits too. Like, okay, I guess I take that back a little bit.
No, because in Sam Raimi, it's like an actual, like, tentacles and mechanical. I mean, it's a suit, but
he's brainwashed.
But if you look at it, all of the incarnations of Doc Ock are suits, because it's mechanical arms, so they're all suits. But just back to Amazing Spider-Man, like. But even with the Green Goblin, it's not all a suit. He takes the Green Goblin serum.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He takes a serum, so he has super strength.
And Sandman is a fucking
Sandman, and they got Venom.
Yeah, so controversial topic.
Controversial comment. The Venom in Spider-Man 3 is better than the Venom that's out now. I'm sorry.
Topher Grace is definitely better Venom than Tom Hardy.
People might cringe at me saying this, but Topher Grace is a better Eddie Brock and Venom than the Venom that's out. I'm sorry. Yeah. My Venom doesn't cook breakfast.
And go, ta-da! Yeah. And like hum and sing while he's making it.
And then telling Eddie Brock, you're a loser.
Yeah.
We're both losers.
Yeah, it's like, what is this guy?
Venom isn't
sounds like an emo kid trapped in his body.
Venom isn't a bro.
Yeah.
Venom is someone who is just out just to hurt someone just because he wants to.
Yeah.
Like just in Spider-Man 3, he's doing all of this literally just because Peter stole his girl.
And job.
Well, to be fair, he deserved his job part.
Well, yeah, because he faked it. He photoshopped.
Yeah, he faked that. He
faked that image. So
you
guys come up with this on that. You guys come up with on that.
You have to expect something like that.
Although Peter did play Mr. Steal Your Girl, so
it was just a kick in the nuts that he still stole his girl.
Yeah.
After. But like his motivations are way better in my opinion, where Peter got him fired.
Peter pretty screwed him over, so
stole his girl. He watches him walk in the nightclub, both of them dressed super
nice,
hot and good looking. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so yeah, his jealousy plays a role, and it plays a part in him wanting revenge.
Does all this just because his girlfriend broke up with him and he went out on a date with Peter.
Yeah, because even at the end, he tells Spidey, he's like, "Oh, you took my girl, now I'm gonna take yours." Yeah. When he has MJ in the taxi up in the webbing and everything.
He took his girl on a date.
So
now he's gonna drop his girl off of like a 100-story building.
Yeah,
you know, like, you know what I mean? Like that was more like, especially when the whole thing, when his face gets covered.
Yeah,
I enjoy that more.
Yeah,
than because to me, like, I know there's a bunch of incarnations of Venom. I know for every character, but like I like how when the Venom in that Spider-Man, when it closes, he's just a beast. Like, you know what I mean? And when he wants to convey some actual shit, it goes...
Yeah, it opens up.
But once the Venom comes down, that's when he's just there to just cause a bunch of BS, dude. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry, he's better. I just watched it again, and he's the better Spider-Man. Even if Sam Raimi didn't want him in the movie, he's still a better Venom than the actual Venom movie
that we have right now. Tom Hardy.
It's just not Venom to me.
Yeah.
No Spider-Man in his universe.
Well, I don't know about that. Well, I don't know about that because apparently there's trying to. They're calling
it No Way Home. It is what it is.
Well, they're calling it the Sony Spider-Man universe.
Now that No Way Home, it is what it is. Let's talk about Spider-Man No Way Home real quick. Like, now that is what it is, I can believe that. Like, you know what I mean? With how all that's gonna play out, because obviously that's gonna be a multiverse movie, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that has to all play in. Like, all that.
Well, apparently, what I'm thinking is that the whole deal that Sony made with Disney when they originally wanted Spider-Man out was so that they can include him in both franchises.
Yeah, they want it because Sony wants, like I said, like we were saying earlier, they want that Sinister Six franchise. And I haven't seen, oh my god, what was this like before? They releases, I could be wrong, that Morbius trailer.
Well, you can't even say that word on YouTube. You gotta say the coup.
Oh yeah,
you gotta say the coup, or else I'm gonna get
oh,
blocked.
Yeah,
the coup, the thing that's going around.
Yeah, the thing that's
happening.
The thing
currently,
that the news talks about every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So take that for what you want. Like the Morbius trailer. What was that like? The beginning of 20. Like, am I wrong? But I feel like I watched it like 2 years ago, and at the end of that trailer, or in a piece of it, there's a photo of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I know people have proven that this is an actual photo from the Spider-Man PS4 game.
Really?
Screenshot, like a loading screen.
Really?
But that has been done before. Doesn't mean it's not real. Because Episode 9 of Star Wars on their poster used a photo of Palpatine from a toy. They
really?
used it from like a hot toy, like type of.
Really?
Yeah, the main.
That poster where you
with
see his face. Yeah.
Like fade in the back. That's like a toy.
Well, there you go,
like
guys.
Toy
Toy
photography
photography has made it so great that we've officially made a Star Wars poster using toy photography.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So like,
man, the power of toy photography.
Like just because they
comes full circle in this podcast.
You know, because maybe they didn't have like something to use as a modern reference. You saw the screenshots I have from Spider-Man.
No, yeah.
They're freaking legit, dude.
You see reflections in your eyes.
If you put
colors,
a certain filter over that shit and put it in like a CGI background,
I don't know
that looks like the real deal.
I would accept Spider-Man movies in that kind of animation and everything. You know, it's so realistic,
dude. They're good, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost to that point where it's undistinguishable between
Miles
real life.
Morales is literally this PS5 game. I know you can't see it on camera, but I have screen. That's the ending of Miles Morales. That's like animation, dude. To me,
yeah,
like that's some high quality stuff.
Well, that's why he's in. What was that? The Spider-Verse and everything. So.
Oh yeah, Into the Spider-Verse. That's good.
Yeah. So
like if that doesn't happen in live action, I'll be very disappointed.
Well, I don't think it will because they're coming out with a sequel already.
Like no, like that's what I'm saying. Like if the new Spider-Man movie doesn't evolve into like a multiverse Spider-Man movie, that's gonna be so. It has to be true because it's so out there to the point where they would have to say something at this point. Like, you know what, guys? So we don't get 20% Rotten Tomato score. They're not in the movie, so please don't buy the ticket thinking they're in the movie because imagine the ratings of this film if they're not even teased in this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
what is your take? Final answer. Do you think Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are gonna be in
I have two feelings about this.
No Way Home.
I have two feelings about this. Either Tobey Maguire will be the one featured to come in from the multiverse, considering that it seems like his villains seem to be the more central part.
Sandman.
Yeah, and Sandman, Green Goblin. They seem the more central. So he seems to be the more probable one to actually be
showing
in the film. And maybe at the end they find out, hey, there's more Spider-Man out there.
And they just say, what's up to Andrew?
And then they find an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man because I feel like he might be the reveal because he's the underdog Spider-Man to where they'd be like, look, we're bringing him back too. We know you thought you didn't think we'd bring back Tobey Maguire. Look, we're about to reinvent his ass too. He's back too. Well, he's back as well. I feel like he might be a tease.
And that's why I said I'll accept a Toby with an Andrew, but I won't accept an Andrew without a Toby.
Yeah, no,
you know
I don't think they would do that because he's the least popular Spider-Man.
Exactly.
I still like him as Spider-Man, but he is without a doubt the least popular Spider-Man. The other Spider-Man didn't have movies canceled. I know it sucks.
Well, yeah, they did. Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Spider-Man 4 seems like
it was canceled because of other
Spider-Man
reasons.
4 seems like that's a gift. like because if you watch Spider-Man 3,
it does kind of
that
it does kind
ends.
of yeah, it does
That-
end the trilogy.
Harry
It
dies.
ends, Harry dies. Sandman just disappears.
he forgives
Venom's
Sam.
gone.
And then Mary Jane and Peter just
Live happily ever
they just
after.
forgive each other for whatever happened and
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
hug each other at
yeah,
the end.
you're right. It is a full circle.
That's a bow
trilogy.
tie at the end.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Episode or number 4 would have been a gift.
That
It would have been like
just
it would have been like an epilogue.
That would just
It would
been
have been like an
sick.
epilogue.
Spider-Man 4, I'll see that.
It would have been an epilogue.
Imagine that existed, dude. Imagine that in 4K. We would have that in 4K right now as a
Well,
collection.
just think about it. If
Freaking awesome.
Just think about it in the Marvel multiverse sense. In another multiverse, we have fucking Spider-Man 4 by
Right,
Sam
dude.
Raimi.
Oh my god.
Although
he's directing Doctor Strange 2.
So that's what I'm saying. Although with this whole multiverse thing, and if they do bring Tobey
that,
back,
that can't be a coincidence,
I've
dude.
heard
it's not
that
a
there's
coincidence.
a possibility that he may get his chance to direct his Spider-Man 4.
That's not a coincidence that Sam Raimi
I will
is
take
the director of Doctor Strange 2.
No, I know, and that's what I'm saying. There's a possibility that he's gonna come back and do Spider-Man 4 the way he wanted to.
Dude, if there was a
I will
Spider-Man,
accept a non-DH Tobey. I want a non-DH Tobey for that.
Sony, if you make Spider-Man 4, I will see that in the theater literally 10 times. I will give you...
He's talking about opening day, too.
Yes. That's within the first 48 hours of the film releasing.
Like he'll be there. He'll wear a diaper to the film.
I will be there in his suit. Like I will freaking watch that shit in a Spider-Man suit, dude. Like give me a Spider-Man 4, Sam Raimi.
We're talking about
Tobey,
that. I went to fucking Infinity.
there.
I went to Infinity War in my Spider-Man leggings.
Oh, dude, I remember you telling me that. I remember you telling me that you were in Vegas.
Yeah.
Hey, if
like,
you were gonna
fuck
do
it.
it, Vegas is the place.
Yeah.
You know, that's the least of Vegas's problems.
I said fuck it, dude. But maybe for Far From Home or No Way Home, I'll do it again. I'll wear some Spider-Man leggings.
I gotta buy like a Spider. I was watching Far From Home. I know I've said this a million times when watching the Spider-Man movies, but that 4K Ultra,
It's clean.
Far From Home, is without a doubt the cleanest 4K Ultra I have.
Really?
Like that was ridiculous, dude. Like to the point where it was so clean, I was like, dude, you're ruining it. Like I was like, tone it down. I was like, what is this? Like, it looked like a soap opera.
Oh, okay.
Like
it was
like
that kind of camera.
It was like
work.
freaking like watching General Hospital or something.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah.
All My Children, where it was just like, it was like as if like a movie was running in like 120 frames or something, and it was just so crisp. I was like, yeah, like, tone it down. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, this is so clean. Like, what
Yeah.
the hell? It was good. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, whoa, dude. I was
Your
like,
head was hurting a little bit.
I hadn't watched it since like I had initially bought it. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it since, and I watched it, and I was like, whoa, dude. I watched it on the Samsung. I hadn't watched it in a while, and I was like, dude, whoa. That if you're ever contemplating getting the 4K Ultra, whether it's digital, I watched it digitally through the Apple TV app.
Really?
And that was bonkers. So if you're even contemplating the physical media of it or digital, dude, amazing.
Go for it. Yeah.
Because the digital Apple TV version on it,
Mhm.
I was watching, dude, freaking bonkers, man. Like, so crisp. Like, insane. I hope, like going back to initially what the whole video is about, Shang-Chi.
Oh yeah.
Like,
we should probably go back to that.
4K Ultra.
That's gonna look
must.
Yeah.
Like, that is instant 4K Ultra. Like, for sure. I'm gonna get that physically.
Yeah,
I don't get a lot of
definitely.
Marvel movies
Physically.
rather than like the main point films like the Avengers and the Spider-Mans and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But I'm gonna get Shang-Chi, dude. Or Shang-Chi, yeah, my bad. I'm for sure getting that. I don't care if it's digital or physical.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably prefer the physical, obviously. And probably get the Steelbook if they have it.
I'm sure Best Buy will come out.
Yeah,
with that.
the Best Buy exclusive stuff. I'm gonna get that, dude. That movie was so good. I'm gonna watch it on Disney Plus this Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it again because that movie was bonkers out. I'm gonna watch it at home.
It was a great film.
It is,
10 out of 10 in my opinion.
For sure. Like, dude, watching it in IMAX, Dolby Cinema, dude.
Yeah.
Or like even
Just
like,
regular
if you
IMAX.
have to, man, at home, just watch the film.
Yeah, it's a great
Like,
film. You're
it's
gonna have fun. It's
super
gonna take
good,
you out
like-
of this world. You're gonna have so much fun.
It turns into such a fantasy. Like,
Yeah.
there's like lion dragon hybrids. animals that they have.
And what I liked is that that didn't come in until the end.
Yeah,
you know, so it's not like it's consumed by the whole film. Like, oh, here's a bunch of CGI shit. Yeah, where it came in towards the end where it needed to be.
Yeah, I like
it towards the battle. Like, okay, we need these lines to defeat the enemy. Like, okay, that makes sense.
How great is the movie where all that works?
Exactly.
Like, I was into that.
Exactly.
Dude, one of the cutest animals in the movie doesn't have a fucking face, ears, or nothing. He's just a fluff ball with wings.
Yeah.
It's like a stuffed animal with the head cut off, and you sewed.
Literally,
sewed
bro.
off the part where the
just,
head was cut off.
Yeah, it literally looks like that.
And it's just like a fluff ball with wings.
Right.
Like, it's like I was all for it.
Yeah.
And I was all for it, dude. Like,
yeah.
Dude, especially when his dad is like, he's getting down with his dad, with just the stick. And then he has the rings.
Yeah.
And he's just like, nah, dude. And he was like, if mom was here, he was like, what makes you think she would even want anything to do with you?
Right.
And he was like,
oh.
He was just like,
boom.
This was like,
all his anger, yeah.
It's like a nuclear bomb just into the freaking water, dude.
But in hindsight, that was a mistake because then he met the dragon.
Exactly, dude. Like,
just fucked everything up.
I enjoyed everyone's motivations.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Like you can't really blame any side of the coin for what's happening. Like, you know what I mean? Like of course, yes, his dad is the bad guy of the film, but you can't blame him for what he's doing.
Yeah.
I really yes, he's being controlled and convinced of it, but if I was hearing that too, I wouldn't think anything else of it either. Like, I would believe it as well.
Yeah.
So awesome movie. Like, people need to see it, dude. Like,
so overall, what would you rate the movie straight up if you had to say, tell the people?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
I'm not even joking.
So across the board, 10 out of 10 here.
10 out of 10.
Both enjoyed it thoroughly.
And we're not even exaggerating because the movie almost has... It could drop anytime.
Yeah.
By Sunday, it could be 88.
Yeah.
But even that we're not even far off for that. That's a B+. And we're giving it an A+.
Yeah,
10 out of 10 is A+.
I give it an A+. That's what I'm saying. Like,
and that's not even...
I can rewatch that movie thoroughly and enjoy it just as much as the first time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna is Disney Plus? Is the Disney Plus premiere? Is that a 48-hour thing? Because I might get that shit tomorrow and just watch it all throughout the weekend. Because
Could be.
I enjoyed that movie, dude. It was cool. I 100% buying it as soon, like the day it drops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
It's definitely a buy.
I might be so eager to get it, I might just mess up and buy the digital.
And then buy the physical after.
Yeah, because it's on. Because
you've done that before.
Yeah,
haven't you?
I do that with all the Avenger. I own all the Avenger films twice.
On digital first.
Yeah, I'll buy
even though the physical comes with the digital.
I'll buy because usually Disney will do the digital like a month early.
Yeah.
And then the 4K Ultra digital, or not the 4K combo pack is like a month after. So I'm so eager to watch that crap. I will literally buy the digital. I know people are probably gonna rip me for this, but I buy them twice. I absolutely, they deserve it. I'm sorry, Marvel Studios, you gave me enough.
Like, that's where you get majority of your money.
Yeah, like, you've given me 95% satisfaction rate overall of all 25 Marvel movies.
That's
freaking amazing, dude.
Yeah, considering it's span over 25 movies, whereas there's series that span 9 films and the quality dips after this first one.
If you can get me to, I have every single midnight ticket of almost every Marvel movie that ever came out. Like, I literally thoroughly watched the MCU from the beginning to the end. Like, and like, for them to even be that remotely interesting is like
remarkable,
like insane to me, dude. Like, that's crazy that they can do that. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. 10 out of 10 for sure.
All right. Well, you heard it from both of us. 10 out of 10. So, anything else you want to say before we sign off for the night?
Just definitely go see the movie. Whether it's, if you have to, Disney Plus Premiere Access, for sure, watch it.
Or not, go watch it in theaters.
In the theater. If you don't mind watching in the theaters, go for the Dolby Cinema if it's offered, or the IMAX. Both, I I'm sure IMAX is amazing.
Honestly, at this point, this is definitely one of those movies you don't just want to see in regular theaters. You want to see it.
I'm sure in IMAX it probably looked incredible because of the screen size. But Dolby Cinema,
it's just
I will take screen quality
over size. Yeah, any day.
The screen quality on the Dolby and the seats alone. And
mine was broken. So
out of all the times, out of all seats, this was broken. And it was a new theater too.
Yeah.
But
I should have complained.
Yeah, right, huh? Right.
It's a main ticket or something.
Main experience. Like IMAX is the loudest, but
Dolby is the clearest.
The speakers will rattle.
Yeah.
Meaning it's not the highest quality sound.
Well, not just that, but like a movie isn't sound. It's visuals.
But Dolby Cinema is crisper and more surround, but it's not as loud.
Yeah.
But I'll take the more balanced approach.
Yeah.
And the screen quality, and it's better. It is for sure. It definitely has better colors, and feels like the movie's maybe because the whole movie's fake necessarily. Besides, maybe like the first half.
Yeah.
It seemed like most movies are. I know they're not. They're probably still filmed in 24 frames a second, but I feel like at least the way the Dolby Cinema is portrayed, I feel like they're higher frame rates.
It could be.
I feel like they're like.
Well, I don't know because they have to all be filmed the same way.
Yeah, I know they're all 24.
They're not going to film. They're not going to film every movie with 3 different cameras.
I know they're filmed at 24 frames, but I feel like the quality of Dolby Cinema is doing like some type of upscaling. Where
it probably does.
Kind of like just like TVs, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and because it looks super crisp.
So, anyways, 10 out of 10 for you for Shang-Chi. 10 out of 10 for me. Anything else you want to say? Last thoughts?
No, just go see the movie. It's really good. Definitely can't regret watching the film.
All right, guys. So you heard it here. 10 out of 10 from both of us. Definitely go see it, whether you are a Marvel fan or just a fan of an action movie. It is a great watch. You will thoroughly enjoy it. It'll take you out of the cinema or out of this world and into a cinematic universe. Like I said, not necessarily connected to the MCU, but just one of those great movies that takes you out of the world and puts you in them for the time being, and actually makes you want to revisit that world. You want to go back. You want a sequel. You want to see more. You want to go back to that world. You want to revisit it.
For sure.
So yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining me for episode 1 of the CoolFigurez Coffee and Toys podcast. Like I said, this is the new version of the Toy News Toy Talk podcast, where it will be premiering every Sunday. So I just want to thank my host, or my co-host, Chris Brown. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Coffee and Toys here on the CoolFigurez channel. If you did enjoy it, please remember to hit that like button. That way, I know you guys are enjoying the content that I put out, as well as helping the channel grow. And if you guys haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It is a very small goal of mine to try to reach at least 1 new subscriber per new video that I put out. So please be my 1 new subscriber for this video. Thank you so much in advance. And if you guys subscribe, my videos will pop up on your feed for you, and you don't have to go searching for the CoolFigurez channel. And even better yet, if you go ahead and hit that bell icon after you hit subscribe, they'll pop up in little notifications for you to see whenever I do upload a new video. But with that being said, guys, please, if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at CoolFigurez for my review pics. And I do have a separate Instagram account for my more thought out, planned out, more edited pics called Epic Shots by CoolFigurez. Check it out. If you like what you see, leave me a follow there as well. And if you guys want to see the unboxing of any figures that I do reviews on for this channel, please check me out on TikTok at CoolFigurez. That's where I do all my unboxings, because when I get a new toy, guys, I am like a child and I cannot wait to rip it open and play with it. So I don't have time to set up my YouTube studio, so I just film it on my phone real quick and upload it to TikTok. So check me out at CoolFigurez. So once again, I just want to say thank you so much to this channel sponsor, VRare Store. Check them out for all your Funko Pop, anime, and Pokemon card needs. And of course, use code CoolFigurez at checkout for 10% off your order. VRare Store, check them out, guys. So with that being said, guys, whether or not you're a subscriber, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to me talk about toys. I really do appreciate it. As always, I'm your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.